The oil spill by BP has left our balls all over the sea. So don't go swimming down in the south unless you want our balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Swim in the ocean, you'll have balls in your mouth. Go ahead! Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your What's up, everybody? This is the Booch, and welcome to the Boochcast. I am here live at the Tavern on the Main in Snellville, Georgia. I have a very, very special guest with me right now. You've seen him on TV. You've heard him on iTunes, and he's been known to thank God more than any professional athlete I have ever met. You can catch him Saturday, August 27th at the Relapse Theater for a very special going-away party that he has. We'll talk more about that throughout the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome to the show an Atlanta comedy powerhouse and a baller on a budget, the one and only Mr. Josh Harris. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. I need to have you do all my openings. That is pretty sweet. I didn't expect that. That was pretty delicious.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm going to copy and paste that and put that on the bio of my eHarmony profile, okay?
I think it would work there on eHarmony. They
Yeah.
really love that.
Can you introduce me to all my dates like that, too?
I will totally do that. I will totally do that to everybody.
Just open the door. He's a baller on a budget. He thanks God. He's here. You're welcome, Josh Harris.
Well, I just love that song. You know, the baller.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, I saw you
Thank you.
earlier today in the show. So, how did the show go?
Oh, it's good. You know what I mean? It's always interesting doing bars, like where you have to compete with professional sports. But I thought it was a good show. Awesome crowd. There were some people up front that were really rocking who I was connected with, like these cool people over here. You can't see them, but they're to my left. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I think like the shows like that where noise can be a factor, you unfortunately kind of have to zoom in on like the front couple of rows and just connect with people that are really digging it. But so, yeah, that's what I did. I thought it was awesome. I sold a ton of, maybe more shirts than I've sold in a long, long time. I mean, I don't know. I want to say maybe the most shirts I've sold at a show, other than my big concert special. But, yeah, I sold a lot of merch. It was great.
Yeah, I actually saw one of the servers. I think they were wearing it's a Josh Harris.
Yeah, it was great promotion. I loved it. Yeah.
Like, I think that probably helped. The fact that he's walking around and see the shirt.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. How cheap would I be if I asked for the shirt back afterwards? I thought about it. Do you think you're getting away with that $20 piece of material? I don't think so.
Well, it sounds like you made more than your money back on it. I think you earned the free shirt.
I think he did earn it. Yeah, he did a great job with that.
Yeah, so you've been running around helping people out. With your more people been able to get the shirt.
Don't tell anyone. I was sweating profusely after that shit with my dancing. I got off stage, toweled off with one of the shirts, put it back in the bin. Yeah. Someone's buying it. I'm charging extra for it.
Maybe they'll sell it on eBay.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be a good incentive.
I like that. Yeah. I love it.
Awesome. And of course, we've been talking about Ball on the Budget, which is on the new album. And the last
crazy.
And we were talking about the Kickstarter campaign. We were raising money to get everything together and set this album up. And you told me all the plans and all the singles you had for it. And, you know, you were so full of optimism, as were myself and Jerry Sherman back when he was on the show.
Yeah.
We were very excited. So, since the last time you were here, you know, we heard the album is number 3 on iTunes.
That was cool.
It is number 13 on the Billboard Comedy Chart. So, what was your reaction to that, and how much has your career changed since then?
First off, let me say my reaction was incredible gratitude. You know what I mean? I just feel like I just, you know, Christ really took me by the hand on that one. The more that I pursue Him and God in a relationship with Him through prayer, meditation, scripture study, and serving others, the more of an adventure life becomes. You know, and I guess for me, just I was so stoked because you never know. And then to see my name the day that we released that right next to Jim Gaffigan on iTunes, you know what I mean? It was like I was actually between Jim Gaffigan and Jim Gaffigan. It was like, I don't know, it was like Ron Funches, some Jim Gaffigan me, and then another Jim Gaffigan album on iTunes. So like for me, it's what's worth $1 million is just that title. I mean, I can put that on a resume. You know, number 3 on iTunes. I have the screenshot. I was shocked. I was really, and then when Billboard emailed me, that was great. And the other craziest thing is, I think I would have been way higher on the Billboard charts, but I forgot to register all of my pre-sales on Kickstarter. So they're like probably 200 to 400, 300 sales didn't get charted at all on Billboard. So they went just off the digital stuff. None of my physical sales got reported or my Kickstarter sales were reported to Billboard. So they went completely off of just like the downloads the day that we released, and I get streams and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just incredibly grateful, man. It's very, very exciting. In terms of career, I mean, you know, that album did a lot for me, just in terms of, I think, generating excitement and some fans. You know, really what got, I think, some buzz and excitement were the music videos we did. You know, I know Whip Guys really got a lot of people. There were a lot of fans behind the Whip Guys music video. Which is really cool. Guys Night Out did very well. And then we did that big, huge show at the Earl Strand Theater, which was like a comedy special thing that we filmed. And, man, I've never, you know, it was packed. I think we had 320 tickets accounted for. Yeah, it was great. So, I mean, and that probably, like, I think over 20 people involved in that production. That lot, you know, and I think with the music videos, there were over 70 people involved. So, you know, I just learned how to produce events, videos, like, and really, I think, become a leader and work with the team. So, I mean, yeah, I got some fans, got some buzz, but also just, I feel like I grew a lot personally and professionally as well.
Awesome. And with the special that you did, do you know is it going to air, when and where it's going to air? Or
so I've thought about it. We just finished all the sound for it. You know, all the we just finished mixing all the sound for it. I thought about potentially shopping it to like a Netflix or something like that. I think really what I'm going to do first, and I might just keep it in this, I might just stick with this, is just chop up the best clips and put them all on YouTube and put a little bit of a marketing budget, use it for visibility, and also use it for my promo reel that I'm going to take to LA. I don't know if I'm going to do the whole special in its entirety because it was pretty long. I do feel like it's like an hour and 10 minutes. And but I think what I'm gonna do is get the best performances from it and put it online for free so everyone can see it.
Yeah, that way that's good for the bits and pieces of it. You know, maybe Netflix might want the whole thing.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. That's a great idea. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, because you did. I've seen some comics do that where they'll put like snippets of it on YouTube and stuff, and then eventually they'll tell you at the end of it, like you obviously won't be able to do that before it out. So yeah. Eventually at the end of it, you can say, come check out the whole thing on Netflix or HBO.
Absolutely, man. That's a great idea. I like what you thought about generating some visibility and some buzz online. You know, I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I that's one thing I've learned personally. How powerful social media is mostly. Yeah. And it's not. And most of it didn't even come from, you know, being a comic. I learned because when I went to Georgia State, I took a public relations class.
Oh, did you?
I was a public relations major at school, and I told my
teacher that I wanted to go into comedy with, and he just sat me down and told me no.
Really?
Well, he's not even a comic. He's not even involved in comedy in any way, shape, or form. But when he heard what I wanted to do, his eyes like lit up like, that's the best idea I've heard any public relations person.
That's awesome.
So that's why I learned to do that. You put that at the end, and then you just put that up there. It'll give more visibility for it. So you put the whole thing up, and no one's gonna want to take it.
Are you still performing a lot?
Yes. I haven't been on in quite a while. I've mostly just been doing the podcast.
You're a great interviewer. Yeah, love it. Well, you been in the podcast and what else?
I did a TV show for Adult Swim recently.
Yeah, man. What was that?
Daytime Fighting.
What is that?
It's like a wrestling based show. Like, it's not like pro wrestling, like suplex and everything. It's how those gimmick matches used to have in the 90s, where it's like the kick flip on a pole, or they would say like the Bronx anything, stuff like that. So we did they put all these insane stipulations, like me and 15 other people were competing in this tournament, and I had a lot of crazy stuff I had to do. Where at one point, they had this thing called a boulder holder match, where they put one arm behind my back, wrapped me my upper body in saran wrap, gave me one free arm, and then stuck a bra on it, and I had to unhook the other guy's bra with one arm to win the match.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and then I had another match called Metamorphosis, where again they put butterfly wings on me, wrapped me in saran wrap, and I had to rip myself out of it and bring the belt for good person.
Did you do it?
Yes. And then I had the last match that I lost, which was Sponge Guy Bloodbath match, which was the weirdest thing I've ever did. They took a pinata from SpongeBob SquarePants, stabbed a hole in his head, and all this red Kool-Aid dripped in the tub, and then me and this other guy had to fight over a sponge and try to fill up a bucket.
Has it been aired yet, or?
It's aired. It was on AdultSwim.com, and it did so well there they put it on Adult Swim too.
Really?
Yes. And I got a call from Adult Swim to do like a couple of guest spots on a couple of other shows, because even though I lost, they said we've been doing the polls, and you are the star of the show. It's like I'm more popular than the guy who won the whole thing. Like that's insane.
Send me some clips, man.
I will, absolutely.
Awesome. That's a good job, Booch, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I'm hanging with a television star. I'm excited.
Yeah. And I'm hanging with a television star as well. So it's like it's two TV stars.
There we go, man. I love it.
Yeah. Speaking of TV, I guess we'll jump into this. Like, one of the things we used to talk about was I remember the first time back when I was getting new to hosting, and you were one of the main guys on the show. I can't remember if you were the feature the headliner. We were at the Viewer Variety Theater together, and 6 years ago. And I remember I had to air the show. I told in advance, so I had to go online and find things about you. So I'm like, I want to do this right. I don't want to just say, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Harris. So I found 3 things about you that I mentioned, and I remember you giving me a shout out because of it. I mentioned that you were on Bill Bellamy's Boochcast show.
Yeah.
You were a finalist in NBC Senate for Diversity, and you won the B103 Death at a Funeral Comedy Contest.
Yeah, that was so long ago.
And then I said, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Josh Harris. And you came out to stage. You had a great set.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I remember you came out and were like, I didn't even know Booch knew that about me. Like,
that's awesome.
Like, you were telling me, I was like, how did I know all this? I'm like, I was on your website.
That's awesome.
I was just doing homework. I wanted to do the credit thing.
Super cool, man. I love it. Yeah, you do your homework, man. I can tell.
Absolutely. And speaking of Boochcast shows, what was it like being on that show?
Man, that was crazy. That was the best and worst experience I've ever had in comedy. But I learned so much. I mean, the first night I went out there, I was just a god thing, man. I was backstage, literally minutes, maybe seconds before I went on that show. I knew what I was going to say going in. Like, I had my set plan, and literally, I'm backstage right when they're about to announce me that first night. I changed my set, dude, like minutes before I'm about to go on TV. Like, maybe within a minute I'm about to go on television. It just, something like came over me, and I just like, wait, no, I know exactly how to do this. I need to open with this joke, I need to tell this joke, I need to close with this joke. I went out there, dude, because I was planning on performing and like saving my best night for night 2 or like other stuff. But I realized, no, you only got like one shot at this first impression. I tell you, it's like this, and I just felt like divinely inspired, and boom, I changed it. And I go out on stage, man, standing ovation, unbelievable. I was the only person on my show that night that got a standing ovation, and you can see it online. Bill Bellamy's like, wow, that was our first standing ovation of the night. You know, oh my gosh, crushed it. It was an amazing, maybe the best show, or like like one of the best performances I've ever done to this day, 8 years later. You know what I mean? standing ovation. Do another part. I win my show that night. I mean, there was a writer from Chris Rock that was, and I beat him. And I'm like doing for comedy for like, you know, I don't know, taking it seriously for less than a year. I've been on stage the first time I've been on stage been a few years ago, but like, you know, so I win this thing the first night, and I mean, like literally, I go back to my room, and I'm so crazy. I'm like newly sober, so I'm all crazy because of that. You know, my mind's trying to figure out how to function again. Essentially, maybe I don't know, 6-7 months sober or something, and then I'm so anxious because it's my first TV appearance. I can't sleep. I mean, I go like days. It feels like with hardly any sleep. So then I go out for the second round, and I have a panic attack on stage and like melt down, dude. And like Bill Bellamy comes out and just ridicules me, and everyone's laughing and cracking up. It was pretty rough. So, you know, luckily I came back with one joke at the very end, and people like laughed at it and applauded. So literally, I bombed. He came out, everyone was laughing at me. You know what I mean? And then I went back out again and just gave up on stage. I said, you know what? I can't even do this. I literally gave up on television.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was rough, man. I told you, it was the roughest. So I tell you, within the span of like 48 hours, I had the best and the worst performance of my entire life. I asked the producer of that show, I said, what should I do? You know what I mean? Like, and he said, well, you gotta, you know, you can mope around for a few days, you can feel like crap, that's fine, but eventually you're gonna have to get back on your feet and just keep performing. And that's what I did. You know, that's the difference between people who do stuff and people who don't in this business. Some of the most talented comics, I believe, you know, probably much more talented than me. Yeah, I just see them give up because they have a few bad shows, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So he just kept moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's always the important thing. And what I like what the producer said was, this is my thing, was that like he said, you can mope around for a few days, and then you got to get back on your feet. I think you need both to really get better. Like most people say that, you know, there's some people that will just let it go and then keep on going, but then mentally it messes them up. So I've always believed that when something bad happens to you, you give yourself a couple days of a pity party.
Yeah.
I give it a pity party for a couple of days, and then once you're completely over it, then you go back on stage, and that way you've dealt with it. It's like grieving for a loss. I think it's
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you have a loved one that passed away, you don't go back to work the next day. You take a week or so to grieve for the loss, and then okay, now I gotta get back on my feet, get back to work, get back to what I'm doing, and put that in my rearview mirror, you know, and keep going. So
That's a great point. Yeah.
And obviously, I'm glad you got back. It's good that you got back on your feet because now you got all the stuff that you're
Thank you, man.
to get involved in, man. And
Thank you.
And of course, I know you were talking before about you know, going to LA and everything. What ultimately made you decide that now was the time to go out there?
You know, I've been getting advice to go out there for years from people who are doing very well out there. I mean, from sitcom writers to television personalities, you know, other kinds of great professional comics. And I think that fear kind of held me back, but also, to be honest, it just never felt right. You know, I mean, I've been out there a few times to perform. I went out to perform like 7 years ago or so and did very well on some shows. Then NBC flew me out maybe close to 7 years ago, and I had a rough set. I mean, and I just never went back, man. You know, I mean, maybe it was fear, but I just never went back. You know, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. I mean, I was thinking of going to like seminary in the fall. I didn't know, and I was talking to Jerry Farber one night, and he said, you know, you just really need to go out there. You need to really give it a shot. You know, you just need to go out there for like 3 months. So I don't know what happened, but something clicked. I was like, dude, you're right. I do need to go out there. And then I guess, you know, through prayer, meditation, and scripture study, I feel like Jesus made it clear, and that's, you know, on top of all the professional direction that I'd gotten from people. And so I'm heading out there. I just got my place yesterday in Pasadena, which I'm super excited about. I hear Pasadena is really cool. I think it's kind of like Marietta to Atlanta in terms of location, but it's I just got a great feeling about it. I'm excited. And the guy I live with is a concert pianist. He has a grand piano in his place. So I got a piano I can play and practice on. I'm really pumped about that.
That's even better. You use the piano a lot in your rack.
I do. So excited. Yeah, God, it's good, man.
What made you decide to finally book with me?
I released this music video a while back, and it got pretty popular online. It was the first video I ever released, music video. And it kind of went viral in its own little way. I don't even know. I guess maybe, I don't know if I tried to play it live or, whatever, but I started using the piano. And then Jerry Farber had a club, and I noticed Jerry used the piano a lot. So I just kept experimenting with piano stuff. Sometimes it would bomb, but then I finally figured out, how to make it work, and sometimes it went really well, and it's still a work in progress. I really want to knock out these 2 to 3 more piano bits before I head to LA. I'm really working on trying to finalize these before I head out there. But, so that's kind of what happened. I think Jerry Farber, he's the all-around entertainer. He uses it so masterfully, if you've ever seen him. And so he really gave me an amazing stage and place where I could workshop it as well, So his club, Jerry Farber's Side Door, is really where a lot of that was born out of.
Yeah. How's it going? And you seem to have, really done well over there. This is where you filmed the Baller on the Budget video?
I filmed the, what did I film? I filmed the Baller on the Budget promo video.
Promo video, yes.
Yeah.
I knew about it because one time Jerry showed it to me. He said, dude, I'm in this video, you gotta check it out, and that's when I saw it. I think it was an extra in the front row.
I think Truman was in it too, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah. He kept telling me all about it. I'm in this video, you gotta check out. I think I might have been working that night, which is why I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Jerry was very excited to show me when I saw it. I was like, this is funny.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
It definitely is a Baller on a Budget. Definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And I also love, and it was out a few days ago. And I've seen you do it one other time, I think. I think it was the
political commercial?
The political commercial is my favorite.
Thank you, man.
I think it was it was the guy Aaron in the front row. And I remember one time, I remember it was at your Kickstarter party when you had the Chicago Boston, where you invited all those people out there. There was a guy in the front row, George, and you did the whole political commercial with George. And I was just in the back, just because I've seen so many political commercials, and it made so much sense. What made you decide to write that?
Man, I don't even know what got into me, but I know I started it, and that bit took a long time to finish. I mean, it took a year, and I tried it, and the problem I had with it at first was I was making it partisan, so I was making it with candidates versus other candidates, which is automatically going to create a divide in the audience.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what happened, and I don't know if Robin Henry gave me this. She's a brilliant sitcom writer and very funny comic. She's actually a student of mine. I don't know if she gave me this idea or what, but somehow it came up that it needs to be me versus someone in the audience. And that changed everything. That immediately changed everything. So and that got workshopped a bunch of Jerry Farber's stuff.
Now, are you political at all, or is that the big thing?
No, not really. I don't really try to talk about that stuff too much on stage.
Yeah, me neither. I tried it maybe once. It worked okay for me, but I would not preach.
Yeah.
I got away with it once. I'm not gonna get away with it.
Yeah.
I love it. Where you luck out with it. And I know you were saying before about a student of yours. I'm also know that in addition to everything else, you're also doing a lot of comedy classes.
Yeah.
Teaching. What made you decide to start teaching comedy classes?
Yeah, it's cool. I was actually working. There was a friend of mine. I don't know. Jamie Ward was teaching comedy classes at first for a little bit, and something about him teaching it really got me hungry to teach it. And I didn't even charge at first. First, I just got two friends of mine who are interested in comedy. I met up with them and I helped them write a set. I was like, let's do this. I want to really work with you, and I did. And I think they did pretty well. And so then I got involved with Durack Studios. They did it in Sketchworks, and Della Cole was kind enough to let me try this crazy idea of a comedy class out of their studio, and man, it was amazing. They did awesome. I'm so proud of my students. Some of them do better than I do at that graduation show. Yeah, I wish I could take my class. Sometimes, I think I'm afraid I might be a better teacher than I am a comic, but it's awesome to see them grow.
Do any of your students still perform around the comedy scene?
Yeah, Greg Behrens was a student of mine. Greg.
Yes, I know.
He was in my very first class.
Really?
Yeah, he was my very first class. Anwar Osborne's in my class. He does the Laughing Skull. He runs one of the biggest comedy shows in the city, Hip versus Swag. I have other students that some of my students have been like killing it in like television and film and commercial stuff. Yeah. I have other students that have gone on to produce content. Others that have been doing amazing things with stand-up comedy. So it's all over the place. I'm really proud of them.
That's awesome. And because seeing how a lot of these students are getting success, it definitely helps bring more students to your class. And I know that not only teaching them the right way, but it gives results.
It really does. I mean, it's really cool. I try to teach them for 8 weeks so they can really grow. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's really cool.
Is it like 5 days a week, 4 days a week, 3 days?
No, once a week for 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of progress in a lot of time.
Yeah, it's really cool. Now I might need to shorten it up and make it twice a week for 4 weeks so I can probably make more money that way. To be honest, you know what I mean? Versus having to teach, having to wait like I don't know 2 months to teach your next class. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Did you find a place to teach in LA?
I hope so, man. That's the thing. I'm wondering how much energy to put into trying it beforehand. I mean, to line up a place, but I feel like I'm really good at it. So I hope, that God puts me in a position where I can, teach other people, because that's really cool. There's something about when you teach somebody comedy, you build a very special relationship with them because you help them get over probably one of their biggest fears and accomplish one of their biggest dreams. And, so that's where so many amazing relationships might have come from. So I really hope that I can teach stand-up class in LA.
I hope so too, man. I know there's still some, even though LA is a mecca for comedy, I'm sure there's people out there that could use a good teacher.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Hopefully you'll be able to help them out.
Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome. And I know you talked about God quite a bit on the show, and I'm glad you laughed when I did the thank God special thing, because I was just messing around.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine.
Because I know you talk about God a lot. And
sure.
But this thing that the last time I saw you face to face was when we were at the Atlanta Comedy Theater.
Yeah.
And I remember I walked in, you were watching this, and I said, wow, that's pretty funny. Like, who's that comedian? You said, no, it's not a comedy show, it's a service.
Yeah.
And I sat down, I watched it, and I noticed that, on social media, you talk a lot about Jesus and peace and joy and blessings and everything. Have you always been religious, or was it something that you recently got involved with?
No, dude. When I probably had a heap of Christians and Christianity. Gosh, I mean, most of my life. I grew up in a half Jewish household. At first, I was raised Jewish up at first, and I just met so many gnarly Christians that I had a lot of resentment towards them. And the first babysitter I had when I was 5 told me my dad was going to hell. For being Jewish. So I mean, I wanted nothing to do with Christianity. I didn't realize, I didn't know anything about Jesus or the message. I just unfortunately met a few bad mascots. And it wasn't until, I sobered up, realized, and got into my life and saw how many amazing things he was changing and doing for me, that I was even really open to understanding how a relationship with God worked. Now, I still didn't want anything to do with Christ at that point. Our Jesus or church. I thought all those people were bigots and morons, to be honest. And it wasn't until I sort of started going to church, just because I thought the message was cool. I wanted a healthier network of friends. And I was on a, I just kept coming back. I was like, I like the message. This guy's kind of like I consider him a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Well, I kept going. And one time when I got involved in different small groups, and when I was on a family vacation, I started reading my Bible, and I just literally, as crazy as it sounds, I closed my eyes and I started getting these images of Christ with his arms open and wide, ready to embrace me. And every time I saw it, I felt this static electric shock on my heart. Just like joy started to penetrate me in this way I'd never experienced before. And I think eventually I just said, I surrender and let him in. And it was just like, for a week, I felt like I was on the mountaintop with the Spirit of God blowing through me. I went on to do a show with Jerry Former in Florida, and I was essentially just by myself, you know what I mean, on a road gig for like days. And it was like I didn't need anybody else. I was so happy and so joyous. It was like I had one toe in heaven. This was right after I accepted Christ. And it was just like there was no going back. I'd never felt the joy like this before. And so, yeah, that's sort of how, and since then I've just continued to grow in that relationship through prayer, meditation, scripture study, and service towards other people, service work and volunteer work, and, staying sober. I mean, it's just been an awesome ride.
It definitely has been, and my thought has always been, whatever helps you stay sober, by all means.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been out. We haven't hung out during the time where you work.
Yeah.
But from the stories I've heard,
you're probably better for it.
I hope so. I mean, I've had a few drunken moments myself. Like I said, I did used to work for the regular guys. They got me wasted all the time.
In the studio?
Not once in the studio. But
did they film it?
They filmed it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I had to. They made me interview these girls from Free Olive Vodka. And I'm interviewing these girls, and I'm like laughing too much, I'm going crazy. And it was a great interview. And the most embarrassing moment, this is the one drunken person I had, is that it laughed so hard, one of the other interns almost dropped the camera. He was laughing so hard. I was trying to say, my original plan was, I want to thank the girls from $3 Vodka for coming here tonight. That was so wasted. I said, I want to thank the girls from $3 Garden. And the girls started laughing, the camera almost dropped, and I went, did I just say Garden? Like, they went crazy. Like, they were like, and the other guys were like, we're airing this. They put it on YouTube, it's still up there.
No way. Wait, so they made you drink $3 vodka?
Yeah, because they were plugging they were sponsored of the regular guys' roast, which they're doing that here. So they brought them in to kind of plug their show in exchange for them giving out,
Oh, gosh.
So, but then other times it would be like Steve's bar. Like Steve has a thing where I have to get him drunk because they love what I do when I'm drunk. So I would get wasted, but then Steve was always nice about it. He would put me in his truck, take me to the Best Western Hotel, which is right down the street, and he would pay for my room.
Oh, wow.
But so he's like, I got you drunk, but I'm cleaning up the mess afterwards. I'm not going to leave my house. I always was grateful to Steve for that.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, that's a little side story there. But I got to say, I'm sorry that I was chuckling earlier, but because I know this isn't funny, but I got to say, when you tell me that a babysitter, she tells them 5 years old, that's going to help. Like, first of all, you're 5 years old. You don't need to be hearing this. Second of all, what babysitter wants to lose a paycheck that way? Like,
I know.
I'm saying, at least check your opinion. At least get the money first before you start.
I know, right?
Stuff, at least.
I know, right?
I thought that was funny. But yeah, and I definitely noticed that a lot about you, about the spirituality thing. I always wondered where it came from because you're the only person, like I said, like I think it was like yesterday we were talking on the phone. You're the only person that ever says God bless when you hang up the phone. Which is great. I love it. But it's one of the things where it's like, I didn't know how to respond to it because I wasn't used to it. So when I said used to, I hope you didn't mean that I hope you didn't mean that in a bad way, that I was being dismissive.
No, dude.
I just didn't know how to react to it, that's all.
It's all good.
It wasn't something I was used to, but when I was a kid, my parents took me to church all the time just because they wanted me to learn everything. Like, it's like we got them baptized, I had no say in the matter. We had communion, which I had a say in. Then it was confirmation, it was like, okay, I'm not doing this. So, and it was weird because, like you said before, I saw so many bigots and crazy Christian things that I was like, I'm still a Catholic, I believe in God, but I can't take it to this extreme, people are nuts. And then one day, and that's why I brought up the sermon thing to you when we were watching it, because I used to watch, like the guy I watched is Joel Austin.
He's awesome.
He's awesome. Like, I remember one day I woke up at like 7 in the morning, I turned on the TV, and Joel Austin was on. And I'm listening to this guy, and at first I thought it was a Christian thing. My first instinct was to change the channel, like, I'm not going to listen to this. But then I heard him talking, and I could, like, relate to everything he said. Like I know sometimes you might be having a bad day. Coworkers might be making you mad. I'm like, dude, and I remember me having to say, like, dude, you don't even know the half of it. I'm leaving on my pillow because so many people were pissing me off the day before.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, you know the half of it. And then I'm like, this guy makes a lot of sense. So I was watching him home. I mean, I haven't watched it in a couple of weeks. I've been busy with a lot of things, but I was watching him for like a month straight. I was watching him like every morning.
Yeah.
And I was like amazed at the messages he gave and everything. Yeah. And it's like Like the only thing he says is the only thing advice he gives that I don't think is to get in a good Bible-based church. I'm like, I'll just watch you. But when I watched him, I was like, I felt really spiritual with things. Like, it made me feel more positive about myself if I was negative for a long time. And he says, like, when you think positive things happen to you and everything. And he was like 100% right. And I was like, this is amazing. So when I saw you watch that sermon, I was like, wow, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
That watches this stuff or gets amazed by this stuff, which is why I was, you know, when we're doing this interview, this is one topic I was very excited to talk about.
Oh, great, man.
Just because, like, I feel like you're the only Atlanta comic I could talk about this stuff with.
Oh, that means a lot.
Yeah, I don't feel like anybody else is like that. It's like, if I told everybody, like, hey, I'm watching Joel Osteen, they might look at me like, what is wrong with you? Like, I know a lot of comics would look at me like I was nuts.
Sure.
But you're the only one that would, like, you're not looking at me like I'm nuts. Like, you're totally dead.
Oh, man, I've listened to some of his sermons in the car and seen some of them, and yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, like, actually, when he comes to Georgia, like, I'm actually going to buy tickets.
That would be awesome. I think he comes to the Phillips Arena sometimes or something like that. Yeah, he does that. He does tours.
Yeah, and I'm watching, like, and he's into, like, and he told a story about how now he did this, and I see how big the building is that he does it, like, in Texas, where he is.
Yeah.
It's like a concert hall. I'm like,
I think it's where the football team used to play. I think it's the stadium. Yeah, I think it's like the old Astrodome or whatever the heck that was in Houston.
I was like amazed. Like, okay, I'm like, if you pass that many people, you must know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone play in a church, like, or a church that has something that big.
It's crazy.
It's like, I'm like, wow, this guy's, and I'm watching, look at this, and then it said, follow him on his podcast. And I'm like, the dude has a podcast? Like, now,
have you heard it?
I've heard it, yeah.
It's good?
It's very good. Sometimes it has a little bit of the same that we talked about in there, but also he'll do, like, certain topics as well, but he tries to make it different from what you've heard on the TV.
Does he have guests, or is it just him?
I think he might have a couple guests, but I think they're all church-related.
Gotcha.
I don't know if he might get somebody, like outside of it. Like, personally, I've seen outside of it, maybe Steve Harvey. So another
friend, Steve Harvey on there?
I don't think he had him on there, but I think he might eventually, because I know Joel's been on Steve Harvey's talk show. So they're friends.
Did you see that? I'm gonna Google that when I get home.
They did a segment where he talked about, do you think God has a sense of humor? And Joel says, yeah, I think I do. And then he tells a couple stories, and Steve tries to do one of his sarcastic funny things, and Joel just stares at him. And he's like, and then Steve's like, well, I guess I'm going to hell for that one. And then everybody starts laughing, and Joel says, I'll pray for you. So I'm like, I don't know about Joel, like, he'll put jokes in his story. And that was another great thing I loved. It was like, he did a story about, you know, how if people piss you off or stress you out, you stay at rest. Like, don't let things bother you. He told a story about one time I'm walking around my house and I'm going to watch TV. I can't find the remote. So I called my wife, Victoria. I said, where's the remote? I can't find the remote because it's there. I know it is. 5 minutes later, Victoria calls me and says, Joel, you're not going to believe this. The remote is in my purse. I accidentally took it with me. And Joel said, and I was very close to coming out of my rest. Which is his way of saying I was on pissed off. Yeah. But then I thought, I'll just calm down. And I'm like, there's something about that made me laugh. And I know this is going to sound really weird, but this is how I feel. When I found out later, he said my wife, Victoria, then he found out he had 2 kids. And I've seen so many Catholic priests in my life as a child talking about, you know, that being an abomination, or this being an abomination, or you do this, you go to hell, you do that, you go to hell. So something about the fact that he procreated made me trust him. If that makes any sense. Now, whether he had sex with his wife before they got married, I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going to read into it. But just the fact that he actually has makes me trust him for some reason. Like, he's not going to be judgmental if I had sex before I got married or something like that, you know? Does that make sense? Or am I
it makes total sense.
Awesome. And now, and of course, you mentioned before, you said you were doing a show in LA about 6.5, 7 years ago.
Yeah, I did a show in LA. Well, I mean, I went out there and did a bunch of shows. NBC flew me out there then.
Was that the Stand Up for Diversity show?
Yeah. Maybe,
Yeah, I heard you made it to the final.
I was in the top 10, yeah. I was the dude who got selected from Atlanta. I don't know, I think it's the only one from Atlanta who went out there that year and made it to the finals. It was pretty sweet. I mean, you know, considering that I was competing against some amazing guys who've done some amazing things in comedy, that's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I just before about the Death at a Funeral competition.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in that? I've been listening to radio stations. I've never heard any of them doing comedy content.
That was so cool. One of my friends sent me an email about it. He's like, you should do this. And I literally just showed up. And I was thinking of doing all new material, and they're like, no, man, you just gotta like, I don't know what, there has to be a theme behind it. I don't know if it has to be funerals or what, or family or crazy family members. And I was literally about to, like, I tried to write a whole new bit, and they're like, no, just do your, like, bits that work and, like, say that the people in them are your family members. And I did, and it did awesome. It's kind of like cheating, but yeah, it's great.
Well, it works, you know, because if you throw your family members in there, it helps out a lot more.
Yeah.
Or if you tell a story about a friend, talk about yourself. I've heard that works too. So.
Sure.
So it's definitely a good idea.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I got a few more questions, and we'll wrap up.
Yeah,
cool. Time,
yeah. What's going on?
Absolutely. And now I noticed this when I was trying to contact you before. Like I know I contacted you on Facebook, and I tried to call you, and I hadn't heard from you. And I assumed you were busy, but I know you're all over the place. So, and then at one point, I went to your website, thought maybe there's a quicker way I could over. Then with the contact section of your site, and I discovered I saw this woman's name. I think her name is Rebecca. Shaker. That's right. And so for those people who may not know, who is Rebecca, and what impact has she had in your career?
She's my film and television agent with the People's Store. She's awesome, man. I mean, they've been so supportive and gotten me some work. You know, they handle like film and television stuff, and she's been awesome. Been so supportive. They're probably the biggest agency in Atlanta for film and television and stuff. I hosted their 30th anniversary party. They've been just a tremendous support and impact in my career and my life. Very grateful for them. They may be she may be introducing me to some management and agency people in LA, so we'll see about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is she going to be working with you when you go out on Wednesday?
I think she might connect me with some people out there. I need to figure out what. Yeah, so she might be connecting me with some people. But
that's awesome.
They know some management people out there who I think are involved with comedy too, which I'm excited about.
Well, to me, that's a great agent. Someone that's like, you know, if you're going out of state, I'll help refer you to another agency.
Yeah.
You can still grow as a performer.
Yeah.
That means she truly wants you to grow, and she's not just taking money from you, but she really wants to help you grow as a performer.
Absolutely.
And that's always the key thing you want in an agent. So that's definitely. So I never met Rebecca, but she scores full points for me just for the fact that she wants to help you grow it.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And now, of course, as I mentioned before earlier in the show, August 27th, you're going to be at the Relapse Theater.
I will be.
It's your going away party before you head to Los Angeles. What can fans expect when they come to the Relapse Theater?
Oh, it's awesome. Well, you know, I'm kind of getting back to basics. So if you saw the show March 19th at the Earl Strand, it was a production. I mean, I had background dancers, I had singers. I mean, one little girl from American Idol. I was doing sketches. I showed music videos. I mean, it was like a freaking party. This is going to be a party too, but it's different. I'm getting back to basics. So it's like I'm going back to how I started, stand up and piano. You know what I mean? And maybe a track or two, but like it's old school. I'm writing new jokes. My plan is to have a new set for them. You know, probably not like 45 minutes or anything, but like, you know, a new hosting, like come out swinging with some new, I want to have a nice chunk of new jokes and some new piano comedy as well. And so, but it's going to be an epic stand-up show, and I'm bringing some I think they're my just sensational comics are going to be performing. I mean, J.A. Anderson's going to be there, who I believe he's been on Conan O'Brien. That's what I've been told. Jerry Farber is going to be here, 3-time Atlanta Entertainer of the Year. Then we have one special guest who is supposed to be there, and I can't announce him. He's kind of a big deal, but I've been sort of sworn to secrecy. But I can say that I believe he's last comic standing. He's got I believe he's been on Showtime for stand-up, Bud Light Super Bowl commercial. I mean, this dude's on MTV. He's a big deal, and so it's going to be slamming, man. I mean, it's going to be. We sold 30 tickets yesterday, which was pretty cool. So anyone who is interested, man, it's going to be huge. There's only 190 seats, so get tickets at funnyjoshlive.com.
Absolutely, I will definitely post that website.
Thanks,
and I'll help out any way that I can. And We may have already answered this question, but I'll just throw it out anyway because how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
What can we expect from Josh Harrison?
Gosh, man, I don't know. I guess only God can tell, but I would, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go out and just see what happens, but I'm really working on my set, my stand-up, as I go to LA, because that's my number one. I think that's what I'm strongest at right now. I've been quite good at, like, producing and filming and creating content, I think. So there's that. I want to bump up my social media presence, put some more skits on social media. But really, I'm going to really go all in on I think, on stand-up and on writing. And, I mean, it would be great to, have a Comedy Central Presents or a Netflix something or, whatever. So I'm just going to hustle and bustle and see what happens. I would love to do more musical comedy, but, that's going to have to present itself. And, maybe get involved with some other great comics or people that I can co-write some stuff with. My bucket list, I have a bucket list dream of filming and directing a movie as well. So we'll see if that comes to fruition one day. So.
Well, if you need any actors, give me a call.
You're the man, Booch, of course.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Atlantic comedian Josh Harris. You can catch him August 27th, Saturday, at the Relapse Theater. Tickets are on sale at funnyjosh5.com.
Yes,
And what's that show?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Make sure you get your tickets now before they sell out. Josh, thank you so much.
You're the man, Booch.
For being on the show.
I'm a fan of yours.
Yeah, you've always been a great supporter of the Boochcast.
Yeah, buddy.
I know you for quite a few years. And like I said before, man, when I said you were a powerhouse, I'm not kidding. Like, you're one of the few comics that I see, like, I'm sure you make your bad stuff like every other comic, but usually when I see you on stage, man, you just destroy a room. Like, it is amazing. It's amazing to see it. I definitely want to make it out that going away party, man. I definitely want to hang out one last time before you go down.
Yeah, I'd love to see you there, buddy.
And we'll be back right after this.
Yo, it's your boy Josh Harris. I'm about to show you how to live large without getting charged. It's called falling on a budget, baby. You don't need a whole lot of cheddar to make life better. Just these few simple tricks. You heard a rap of 50 cents? Well, I got his kind of money, so call me up on nickels. I got the money in my mind, but in my wallet not a dime. But that ain't keeping you and me from a life luxury, girl. I want you to know. See, I got all the crazy schemes for living way up on my means. Sure, you see, I got the made up falling on a budget, Jay, ready, set, here we go. I'll be up in a Porsche, but how should I say it? The owner of the car, well, he thinks I valeted. But while he's eating dinner, the place is where you go. We'll hit all the hot spots, cause I'm the man. The dreams in the next one's like costumes and fans. All of the haters, they get it, they talk. They're jealous cause we get to buy stuff and pull. I'm all out of budget, now you know. I'm all out of budget, now you know. See me, every night. Because they just shut off the lights. It's sure we're hiding in the dark, but at least we have a spark, and I think it will grow. You know I also have the keys to the nicest property. There's no need to sneak, and I'm not sitting in wicked depressed. Yeah, I know. When we shop, you can buy everything on the rack, but keep the price tag because you'll take it back. The limit is the sky. For 30 days, you'll be looking fly. The grace of the man for more than just one. So bring all your friends along for the fun. I gotta drive right around to E31. You got your own limo? No, I take the bus. Check out the lights, the camera, the act. I'm a follow on a bus. Welcome to the main attraction. So tell the man up. Everybody stand up. If you find that you want the people, put your hands up. I see a team. Take a look what you've done. Now we got bad blood, bad blood. Yeah, we got problems. I don't think we can solve them. They don't really keep me good. Now we got bad blood, bad blood. And you have to do this. I was thinking that you trusted. And you have to ruin what we got. Now it's all rusted. Where I'm weak, baby, I can breathe. But it is salt in the wound, like it's right at me. Yeah, we got bad blood. Used to be bad love. Take a look what you've done. Baby, we got bad blood, bad blood. Yeah, we got problems. I don't think we can solve them. They don't really need me good. We got bad blood, bad blood, yeah. We be fine, still got scars on my back from your knife. Don't think it's in the past. These kind of wounds ain't lasting, they last. You can think it all through. Only things that will get you to you. Time can heal, but you know it won't. So it's coming my way, baby. Please don't do that love. Used to be a bad love. Take a look what you've done. We got bad blood, yeah, we got problems. I think we can solve them. They don't really need me good. We got bad blood, bad blood. Bad things don't fix bullet holes. Say you're sorry just for show. You can live like that when you live with gold. Bad things don't fix bullet holes. Say you're sorry just for show. But if you love like that, it's blood for the cold. Yeah, we got that blood. No, you should be a man love. Take a look what you've done. We got bad blood, yeah, we got problems. No, I think we can solve them. They don't really need me good. And we got bad blood, bad blood, bad blood. Take a look at what you've done. We got bad blood, yeah, we got problems. We got bad blood, bad blood, bad blood.
What's up, Boochcast fans, listeners across the internet, radio waves? This is Vinny Bucci, aka the Booch, and this is that time again, once again, yet again, for the Boochcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. It is high noon on Friday, August 26th, 2016, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the interview that we just played with Atlanta comedian Josh Harris. Also, during the break, we played the song Baller on a Budget, which is from Josh Harris's hit album that is on iTunes, and you can also find it on his website, funnyjoshlive.com, and that's where you can also purchase tickets to his going away party at the Relapse Theater, which will be Saturday. It's actually tomorrow night, August 27th at 7 p.m. You can catch him at his going away show at the Relapse Theater. Purchase your tickets now before they sell out at funnyjoshlive.com. He'll be at the Relapse Theater tomorrow night for his going away party before he moves to Los Angeles, California. And I'm very excited that I got Josh Harris to be a guest on the show. And I do want to thank him one more time for joining me, just because I was, very nervous about whether or not I was going to be able to get him on the show before he left. Josh took time out of his busy schedule. We had one hell of an interview, and I sincerely want to thank Josh Harris for being a guest on the Boochcast, and I'm very, very grateful, and I look forward to his going away show tomorrow night. I'm hoping I can make it, and also I wish him the best of luck in Los Angeles. And make sure you go to funnyjoshlive.com to get your tickets. Also, during the break, we played the song Bad Blood, which is a song originally done by Taylor Swift, but this was a cover version done by the man joining me in the studio today, my good friend, Mr. Desmond Dagenhart. And, of course, he is currently involved in a country music contest done by Kicks 1015, the top country music station here in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's called Nash Next. And best part is you guys can help Desmond in the competition. Basically, how the challenges work are simple. The first challenge, Desmond had to submit an original song, which he did. It got a lot of good votes and was able to help him advance to the next round, where he had to take a song and make it his own. And one of the songs that was listed was Bad Blood by Taylor Swift. And so Desmond took the song, decided to put a country version together, did a hell of a job, and now it is currently online for everyone to vote. And you can cast your vote by going to atl.mdmgames.com/NashNextCountryATL. Register an account if you haven't already. It doesn't cost you any money to do it. They just want a little bit of information. And then also, if you already have an account, you can just log in, scroll down to where Desmond is, give him a 5-star rating, and help him advance to the next round, the finals, because the top 10 will go to Nashville, Tennessee to perform in front of a music talent agent and the lead singer of Rascal Flatts. So this is a big, big moment. And if Desmond can win the whole thing, he gets a recording contract and his music can get played on the radio. And those of you guys that have listened to the Boochcast for a long time, you are aware of Desmond and his talent. You know how well he does, how hard he's been working. The fact that, just like myself, he juggles a lot of different things at one time, but is still able to produce really great music, especially here for the show. And that's why I am reaching out to all of my loyal Boochcast fans and listeners to go to atl.mdmgames.com/NashNextCountryATL, get an account, vote for Desmond, help him get to the next round, because at the end of the day, fan support is what makes the entertainment world go round. And, Desmond can't do it without your help. So go to the site, give him the 5-star rating, help him advance to the next round so we can go to Nashville and knock it out of the park. All right, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I will now bring to the show the man that I've been bragging about for the last, I believe, 7 or 8 minutes. He is currently in studio with me today. He is my Friday co-host. He is a talented musician. He also works during the day as a groundsman, and he is here today for some great wrestling talk, random talk. We got a lot to say today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Boochcast, Desmond.
Hey, Vinny.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Hey, I'm just I gotta say, I came in here yesterday. This is great. This is originally I planned yesterday to spend some time with a girl. Plans fell through. So I sent Vinny a text saying, "Hey, my plans for after work kind of got sidetracked. They're looking to you want to do something this afternoon, hang out, chill, play some video games, whatever." And he just says, "Yeah, come on, feel free, you can crash and play, we can do the Boochcast in the morning." So I get here, and he's upstairs recording. Apparently a big mistake. Apparently. Because his mom lets me in. And now, for those of you who don't know, I'm a groundsman. I work in muddy ass fucking ditches. So I get off work and come here, and I'm covered in dirt. I've got extra clothes in my guitar case because I was not planning on going straight home after work, even before calling Vinny. So while Vinny's recording, I go and ask his mom for a towel so that I can take a freaking shower. And I kid you not, I started World War III in the Bucci household.
It is the thing. I don't even know what the hell's going on. I literally was just wrapping up some last minute editing on yesterday's show. By the way, you can check it out after this show. It's called I Knew I Should Have Stayed Home Today. Although in this case, I shouldn't have stayed home today at all. I should have got the hell out of here. But yeah, so you can check that episode out. So then I finished recording everything. My mom's talking and everything, and all of a sudden I hear yelling and screaming. So I get concerned. I open the door. My mother is in my bathroom. I don't know why she's in my bathroom, but apparently I pissed her off because she just starts shouting at me about how dirty the bathroom is. I'm still trying to process why the hell she's even in there. And it is a funny thing. And when I look over at Desmond, I'm looking at him like, what the hell is going on here? Desmond does the stereotypical thing that all friends do. He's just mouthing the words, "I'm sorry." He's like, "I'm sorry, man. I don't know what. I didn't know this was going to happen." Like, I'm just 50 shades of confused. And my mother just went off the goddamn rails. Like, and the thing is this, my mother is very much a neat freak. She's very organized. She's very big on cleanliness and all that. And it's not that I'm not, but I'm not. Because I'm a dude. Like, if you go to a guy's house, our houses are, the only time guys really clean up their house is for two cases. One, if a woman is coming over, and it could be any woman. If a woman is coming to the house, or B, if they're holding some kind of special party. Then, where like people are coming over that you don't want to see you live in this filthy environment. Like, for example, you guys know a while back I had Spacey Christina, female Atlanta comic. She was here in studio. We did a great interview. People seem to enjoy it.
For you, bro.
He's only saying that because he's never seen a picture. But anyway, I'm just playing. I'm just kidding, Christina. Don't, if you're listening. I'm just messing around. But anyway, my point is, so when she came in here, I cleaned this whole house up. I did the dishes. I freaking, cleaned the bathroom. I took care of this place because I wanted to make sure that she didn't see. And it wasn't because I wanted to sleep with her. It was just because she's new to this house. So she's one of those people that you don't want to see in a filthy environment. Desmond, on the other hand, I've known for 4 years. And we're dudes. So I don't feel like I have to make the house look immaculate for Desmond to come over. And Desmond feels the same way. Because I went to his house a few weeks ago, and his room was satisfactory, but I'm not complaining because I don't give a shit. Because I'm a guy. I'm not trying to have sex with him, Desmond, so I don't care if his room's a mess.
You don't have enough money or good enough looks or enough alcohol.
I love the fact that I have a penis was not on the negative list. It's just that if I had enough alcohol, money, and good looks, I could turn him.
Everybody's got a price.
He's got a point there. Everybody's got a price. All right. I'll keep that in mind. But anyway, so I didn't feel the need to clean the house, and Desmond didn't care. My mother did care. She's like, my mother's real big on like, you know, like if you bring people over to the house, she believes in being a good host. Like, do you have food? Do you have drinks? I'm like, yeah, and if we don't, we'll go to Little Caesars, which is what we did. Desmond wanted pizza. I went to Little Caesars to get him pizza. And we got a cheese pizza, which she got mad for that too.
No, she didn't get mad because we went and got food. She got mad because we went and got food that they had in the freezer to be cooked.
True. We had a Francesca pizza, but I didn't want to take the gamble that it was a pizza you wouldn't like.
It's pizza. How do you fuck up pizza?
I don't know. Some people do, man. Believe me. I've had some pizzas that weren't very good.
I had a DiGiorno that was pretty bad one time.
Yeah.
But I've also had DiGiornos that were really good. But the very first DiGiorno I had, I don't know what was wrong with it. I don't know if my dad got the wrong kind and it has some weird, crazy seasoning in it, or if maybe it was out of date, or I don't know what was wrong with it. But it didn't taste good.
Yeah.
It left it, and I kid you not, for like 2 years, I refused to eat another DiGiorno pizza.
So apparently you can fuck up pizza. So,
but then when I did have DiGiorno again, it was really good. So I think it was just a bad pizza.
Yeah.
I think it was just like old or something.
Okay. Yeah. So DiGiorno redeemed itself.
Yeah. I said it's like I'm not bashing DiGiorno. I'm just saying that first one I had was not good.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a valid point. So yeah. So yeah. Anyway, and it just started like a war. And Desmond was just like, "Where's the popcorn? Where's the soda? I'm just gonna watch this unfold."
It was funny. I was sitting in the living room. They were in the dining room. It was Sonny, Vinny, and his mom, and they were dropping the F-bomb left and right. And she's like, "We've got guests over here. Y'all need to watch your language." To which I immediately responded with, "Fuck you." For those of you who don't know, I have the vocabulary of a drunken Irish New Yorker. And for those of you who don't know what that's like, watch Boondock Saints.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. I've seen the Boondock Saints. That ain't good. My favorite is the old guy. I love the old guy. It looks like he has like Tourette's, and he always goes, "Fuck ass." And then at one point, this guy comes into the bar, and he just like, "Why don't you make like a tree and get the fuck out of here?"
We need to get you one of those pun books, because this mix and match shit just isn't cutting it.
It's like he doesn't even try. It's almost like in Back to the Future when Biff can't even say "make like a tree" and leave. He just keeps saying "make like a tree" and get out of here. And then finally the old Biff like smacks him upside the head and goes, "It's make like a tree and leave. You sound like a moron when you say it." Okay, he goes in the back of his mind, he's like, "God, I was stupid." That's what I love about the time travel thing, is that like I remember in like Men in Black 3 when the guy went back in time, he just stared at his old self like the villain. He goes, "Every mistake I ever made is staring me right in the face right now." Like, that's the sad. And I realized every person that would go in a time machine, you saw yourself, you'd just be like, "Wow."
Okay,
just an epic
I'll say this
fail.
right now, on the spot. If you could go back in time to one point in your life and talk to yourself, what would you do?
Well, I talk to myself every day, so that's a tough one. No, but okay, if I could talk to myself, wow. Probably sixth grade. When I was in the sixth grade, I would probably go back because I lived in this, and I'm talking about sixth grade during the time when I lived here, and I was going to Webbridge Middle School because that was probably one of the worst educational experiences of my life. I had teachers who weren't really. I had two teachers that were nice to me, and they were both art teachers. The rest of the school was just. It was probably the worst environment I'd ever been in my life. It was the one of the rare moments of my life where I was truly depressed and actually wanted to kill myself. Was in sixth grade. Like if I had the balls to do it back then, I probably would have. It was one of the lowest points in my life. I probably would have went back there to tell him that I would have told him two things. Good shit, number one, a lot of good shit's going to happen to you, and it's going to take a while. And two, your metabolism is going to fuck off. That's the two things I'm going to tell him. You're going to be, although I was starting to get fat, but I was like, you're going to have 2 years of your life where that belly's going to be gone. But then it's going to come back with a vengeance. Those are the two things I would tell myself, that you got junior and senior year of high school where you are going to look like a stud. And then it's going to go away. And then, there's one other thing I would have to warn him. But actually, no, there's one thing that I would have to tell him, but I wouldn't tell him because, like I said, I'm at a low depressing point in my life. And it's that, that beautiful hair you stare in the mirror and slick back every day? It's going away. It's going away. But you won't hate it as much. That's what I have to tell him. Right now, you're thinking, because you're in that phase. I was in that phase where I never wanted to be bald. That's why when Larry was trying to get me to shave my head back in the day, I kept telling him no for weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm like, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. We are not doing this. Then we went to WrestleMania Access. He got me to do it. I'm sorry. I got my head shaved. I'm like, if I'm going to get my head shaved, I'm going to do it in the coolest way possible. I'm going to get wrestlers to do it. And that's how I got the bald head. So Larry was trying to find ways to get me to shave my head, but I wouldn't do it because I was afraid to be bald. Because I grew up as a kid when they laughed at you if you were bald. It was nowadays it's not as there's no shame attached to being bald today.
Oh yeah, there is. There's a big difference between being bald by choice and having the Costanza. or even worse, the Hogan.
The Hogan. Where he's got the hair around the side.
Hogan, where he takes the mullet to a whole other level.
Yeah. And the thing about Hogan is that when he's bald, nobody gave a shit. And that's like I think no one paid attention to the fact that the only time Hogan ever really brought up that he was bald was during a segment with Kurt Angle, where Kurt was bragging about about the hair versus hair match that he lost with Edge, leading up to I'm going to shave Edge bald and making fun of bald people. And Hogan kind of got in the ring and was like, got a problem with bald people? And I love that when they see that. And then Hogan took off the do-rag and pretty much addressed the elephant that had been in the room for decades with Hogan, that he's bald on top of his head. And then he did a big boot, sent Kurt Angle out of the ring, and then started doing the drums on his head to emphasize that he's bald and all that. And then, of course, there was the one where Molly Holly got her head shaved. And then she was like, I don't want to be bald. That's gross. That's disgusting. And then Austin just kind of stared at her. He's like, you got a problem with bald people? And then Molly was like, no, fine, make the match. And just walked away. And I actually found out later, on that Table for Three show on the network that the reason Molly Holly got her head shaved was because she pitched it to WWE. And the reason she pitched it was because originally they were going to do another one of those Diva Battle Royals they do a lot at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't going to be a women's championship match. So Molly said, I'm willing to lose the match and shave my head to put a women's title match on WrestleMania. And that's how the match got booked. Molly Holly literally sacrificed her hair for the women's division, which in my opinion makes her the bravest women's wrestler on the planet. No woman, except for Demi Moore, no woman I've ever met is brave enough to shave her head.
Yeah, nowadays it's actually becoming more and more common.
Really? With women?
Yeah, have you not seen all those women with really short fucking haircuts and going shaving them down like that?
Well, I know they at least maintain a short hair, but I mean, like, I'm talking like hair gone completely.
It happens.
Really? I haven't seen a lot of it.
Well, you don't see a whole lot of guys doing it either. Really, let's be honest here. It's not even all that truly common for guys.
Yeah.
And it's because it's such a new thing for girls. It's not overly common. But it does happen.
That's true. It does. In a lot of cases, in rather rare cases, it really does.
But anywho, so I was like, the reason we went back, it's like if I figured if I could go back. Now I've thought about this. There are a lot of things that in my life that I consider to be mistakes. I'm not gonna fix those.
I'm not gonna fix them.
Here's what it is. If I could go back in time, about 3 or 4 years ago, I went to a Halloween party, and this girl was all over me. Yeah, because she was drunk, I didn't do anything. And then the next night, I went to a friend's house for another Halloween party, and I slept with her. Ended up losing that friend because I will say this: we were both drunk, but because I'm the guy, it's my fault we slept together.
Wow. Oh God, really?
Yeah, that's pretty much. Well, she didn't say it that way, but that's pretty much how it happened.
Really? You're the wow.
So here's what I would have done. If I could go back in time, I would have told 21-year-old me, fuck the bitch at the first party, don't fuck your friend on the second one.
Yes, that probably would have been better, but wow. That is ridiculous. Like, both of you were drunk, both of you having sex. It's your fault?
Well, think about it. Look at this. You've seen these court cases before.
Oh, God.
Where people are drunk at a party, but a girl can't consent if she's drunk. The guy was drunk too. That means he can't fucking consent. That's how equality works.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like if both of us are drunk, how do either one of us know what's going on?
Like guys are expected to control their actions when they're drunk, but girls aren't expected to control theirs when they are. I mean, look. Now I will say, if a guy is completely fucking sober, takes advantage of a drunk chick, that's wrong. But if everybody at the fucking party is wasted and y'all wake up naked together, I can't blame either one of you.
Yeah. And you just chop it up to, all right, we did this. Are we going to move forward or are we going to move away? You just decide from there.
Here's what it is. Like, okay, from what I remember, last night was awesome. Do you want to do that when we're sober?
Exactly. Do you want to do that when we're sober? If not, then we can just shake hands and walk away from this.
Fuck, at that point, I'm getting at least a hug and a goodbye kiss. Fuck you.
I know that. I meant that. I meant shake hands like parting ways, like business thing. Yeah.
Well, you're the only one here who's ever treated sex like a business transaction, so.
Aren't they all in a way?
I ain't never paid for it.
Okay, well, hold on. Have you ever taken a girl out to dinner?
Yes, but not before getting laid.
Not before getting laid. It was after getting laid. It was after getting laid? Was you had sex and then bought dinner?
So we got dinner. I bought dinner. We hung out, and then another time, sometime later on, we'd have sex.
Okay.
So it wasn't like.
Okay, I will accept that answer. Fair enough. I'm just saying, if you went out to dinner with a girl, paid for it, and then had sex, you paid for sex, you just didn't hand her cash. So I don't want to hear. That's why I say like it's all in a way. But you found a loophole, so I'll give you that one. I'm generous. I will give you that one. Okay.
Well, here's what I look. It's like, and here's another thing. I'm big on. A guy should offer to pay the first date.
Oh, absolutely.
But if a girl doesn't offer to help, at least offer. The guy does not have to accept. I think the guy should, if he has, is like, or here's what I look at. If you invite someone over, if you ask someone on a date, I don't care if you're the girl or the guy. If you're the one who invites that person out, you should be the one paying. Or at least you should have the money prepared to pay if they can't help.
Yeah.
If you invite them, that should be the situation. Like if I called you right now and said, "Hey man, I'm getting tickets to Shinedown. You want to come?" I expect you to say. I expect you to say either right off the bat, "Yeah, sure." It's like, yeah, sure. How much are the tickets? Or I don't have the money to pay for them. And then if you say I don't have the money to pay for them, then I'm gonna be like, I'm offering.
Yeah.
And that's just between bros, that's the kind of thing. It's like if I invite you, money's not the issue.
Yeah. But most guys are gonna say that right off the bat because they don't want to feel like they're taking advantage. Like I've done that before. Like I said, like I remember, like I think it was last time we hung out here. We were going to Subway,
right?
And you were asking like, "Hey man, it's like you want to go?" It's like I don't got any money right now for Subway. And you said I didn't ask if you had money. I said you want to go eat. I was like, okay, so he bought me Subway. It was like he said, and then Desmond said, now, granted, we're getting something cheap, but I'm paying for it. Which is a valid point. It's like I'm not taking you to Chili's, but we'll get a $5 sub.
And I'll say this: like I've had friends who have taken me, as like taking me to a good meal, got me a good meal when they knew I didn't have any money, and I was very highly appreciative. But these are the same friends that, in a heartbeat, if I was the one with money, I would buy them the food.
Exactly. So it makes sense, and that was very interesting because I was watching a video of that. It happened to pop up on my Facebook feed, but it was one of those videos where like I'd seen it before, but never really got to hear it because I was at work or something. So I kind of had it saved, but never went and saw it. So, and the guy talks about exactly that. And he's in a room full of feminists. That's what I've learned from that one. Like, they looked at him like he had 3 heads.
Well, and the further on he got, the more behind him he got, though.
Yeah.
It's like because he wasn't saying that men first date or men shouldn't pay to go on dates. He was saying if women want to be truly equal, they need to treat themselves as equal, not put themselves to where guys got to pay for them, because that makes them reliant on the guys. And that's something that people don't realize. It's like when you get these feminists, it's like, why the hell are you paying for him? Because he pays for me sometimes. I pay for him sometimes. It's a cheap fucking meal. We were both hungry. That's what a good girl should say. If somebody
exactly.
They're like, look, you're like, here's how relationships should work. Whoever, as I said, whoever asks whoever out should know off the bat, should say right off the bat. If I'm asking you out on a date, if you really want to be with me, if I really want to be with you, if I'm asking you on a date and I really want to be with you, I'm not asking if you got money. I'm asking if you want to go out with me, spend some time with me. I will put the money down. But if you ask me out on a date, and I say, and you get to, and then I say, I really don't have the money, and you get turned away because I'm not going to pay for it, that's when I feel like I'm being used.
Yeah.
Right there. It's like, look, I will gladly, it's like, if I'm in a relationship, and this is even with long-term relationships, especially with long-term relationships.
Oh God.
If I'm the only one paying for anything ever, I'm going to get out of that relationship, because that's not a fucking relationship.
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, here's what I like. It's like, but you're getting sex. She is too. How fucking bad do you think I am in bed?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. When I was 20, I got hypnotized like that, like because you're getting sex. So because I was getting sex, I didn't complain as much. But then after a couple of years, I was like, this is goddamn ridiculous. And I was literally paying for goddamn everything. And this is what I've learned about myself. And I'm not saying this is a good thing about me. I'm just saying I learned this about myself. If I'm in a relationship and I'm literally paying for fucking everything, I am going to be, at some point in the relationship, if it doesn't change, I will be the bossiest son of a bitch on the planet. And then, you can't make me spend every dime on everything. I'm not talking about just, when we went out to dinner. I'm talking about if we went shopping, if we went to the mall and she wanted something, I had to buy it. If we were just I'm talking this woman was like, I ain't saying she a gold digger, but anyway, you know the rest. But anyway, she was literally just everything. And I remember at some point, I just got really bossy and I just became like an asshole. And the reason is because I was paying for everything and this woman was making me go broke during a time where I wasn't making a whole lot of money. Not that I'm rolling in dough now. I can see the look on your face, but Home Depot started me off less than what I have now. So I was in college, so I was broke as shit. Finally, when I graduated college, I finally just snapped and said, look, I did this girl for 3 years. So finally, I finally drew a line in the sand and said, look, either you get a job or we're done. And I told her, I said, this is the start of my last semester of college. You have till my graduation to get a job. I graduated. She didn't have a job. Dumped her. And then I had to change my phone number because she kept calling me back. And when I wouldn't return her calls, her mom started calling me back. That's how bad she was. Her mother begged me to take her back. Because they realized, oh crap, their daughter was an idiot. And I finally had to end that nightmare. And at that point, I was like, I don't care. At that point, my mentality was, I don't care if I ever get laid again. I cannot put up with this. Then 4 months later, I got back on the horse, as they say.
That's not an idiom. He actually, he had to. Because let's be honest.
Look, just because her face looked like a horse does not make her a horse. Does not make her a horse. Okay.
I'm just saying, she looked like a horse. You rode her from behind like one.
Well, she did scream Wilbur at one point during sex. I was like, it's one of those moments where it's like, my name is Vinny, but see, that's between guys and girls. You can yell another guy's name. We're gonna pause for a minute, but it's like, all right, I'm gonna finish this up, and then we're talking about this. Someone will stop immediately. Guys will wait till we're done and then ask the question, what the hell? I was done. I was like, who the fuck is Wilbur?
No, here's where guys and I'll say this. There's a reason that I use the term baby girl. And I use it. You do not want to make the mistake of using the wrong name.
Yeah, exactly.
That is what pet names are for.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna. I feel like now that I should clear this up. I have never cheated on anybody.
Neither have I.
That is not me saying I was like, what fucking bitch am I fucking right now? No, that is not me.
It basically means that sometimes if you're single and you're having sex with a lot of girls at a time, like sometimes you might forget a name. So, or
it's like I have had. It's like I don't know about you, but without paying for it, I've never had a one night stand. I should say, without paying for it, I have had a one night stand. I have a couple of one night stands.
Okay.
Which means, and when I say a true one night stand, I don't mean it's someone I've known for a while. We slept together once and we didn't do it again. Nothing ever came. That's not a one night stand. That's we were good friends. We both needed it. It happened.
Yeah.
it might happen again sometime along down the road, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
A true one-night stand means you meet someone for the first time, get laid, and never talk to them again.
Yeah. Well, see, although I will say this, the advantage to paying for it, they don't give a fuck what name you call. They still got the cash. So it's kind of an advantage. I don't have to remember the names. Sometimes usually if I remember the girl names, if I drove by, I'm like, hey, I might know her, but never mind. But anyway, like, point is, that's advantage. They don't have to remember any names.
As a matter of fact, they probably didn't give you a real one to begin with.
No. It's like they always because you can tell because they always make up they always got like nicknames or stuff. Like,
have you ever slept with a stripper?
Have I ever slept with a stripper?
Without paying for it.
No, I've never had sex with a stripper. Although one did give me a blowjob, but it was in a VIP room. So technically I did pay for it, but no, I never actually had sex with her.
The girl that I've most recently had sex with is currently a stripper.
Damn!
And I've got a picture of her in her lingerie and high heels on my phone.
In the uniform?
And let me tell you, white girl got a booty.
Oh, that's a rarity. Oh, man, that's a rarity.
She's got a true ghetto booty.
Oh, and the body's normal, just a ghetto booty.
Yeah.
That's rare for white girls. Usually they got a ghetto booty, they got a pot belly on top of it. They got a beer cake on top of it.
Good. She is.
Oh, man. Dude. That is awesome.
And here's the thing is she had been a stripper before, and she stopped doing it for a while. And now she's doing it again because it's damn good money.
Yeah.
She stopped doing it for a while. Then she ended up having some medical issues, and she stopped doing it because she had a kid.
Yeah.
And now, she's like, you know what? The kid's not gonna. It's not gonna change how I raise my kid. It's not gonna make a difference.
Yeah, and it doesn't really.
And so anyway, she went back to being a stripper, but before she went back to being a stripper, she refused to send pictures. Like, she would not send any kind of, anything provocative. The closest I got was I took a picture personally of her in a bikini because me and her were hanging out at the lake. And she didn't even like that I took that, but she didn't get mad at me or nothing. But she didn't even like that I took that because she's not big on pictures.
Yeah.
But especially ones that she doesn't handle, she doesn't control.
Yeah.
But she refused. She didn't send nudes, or she never said anything. So if she did send me a picture, it was because she took a picture with her and her son, a selfie with her son, or something. It was something simple.
Yeah.
And she'd send me a picture like that. But when she did go back to being a stripper, she sent me that lingerie booty pic. And I was like, what happened to never sending that? She said, well, I'm a stripper now. Everybody sees it.
Exactly. Everybody's gonna see it anyway. They come to the club, They and the thing is that, and that's the thing that most people don't understand. I learned this from being in strip clubs, and B, when I did the thing, I had the gig at the Gold Rush when I worked for Rock 100 when I was on for the regular guys. Steve and I did a stripper wrestling segment thing that went over really well. I got you get to meet the strippers and everything, and a lot of them really are just normal people. They just take off their clothes, they dance for money, but they're not as messed up or as crazy as people make them out to be. They don't have not all of them have daddy issues. They all
what I've learned, especially nowadays, and this is something people need to realize. The further on in time we go, the less taboo nudity is becoming.
Yes.
And the less taboo sex is becoming.
Exactly.
And sex fact. I recently read how Cracked does these articles on things. There's like misconceptions that people know about this, like things that all people say are wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I read an article like that. I don't know if it was Cracked.com or if it was another one, but apparently, you know how for years people were saying pre-cum, because you have pre-cum, that the pull-out method does not work. Well, according to several scientific studies, and that's what this post is like. It actually had links to the studies and stuff like that. There are no working sperm in pre-cum.
Wow.
It is just as likely to have caused pregnancy as if you were wearing a condom.
Damn. Okay. So that's reassuring.
So then there's other things in there, but that was the one that was like, holy shit! I read that, I was like, that explains why why Christy never got pregnant. And by Christy, Christy was not my girlfriend. It was my cousin's girlfriend, now fiance, now wife, but they never got pregnant until they got married.
Oh, okay.
And they were very open about their sex life and how they refused to use condoms because they did not like them, and they also refused to. And she didn't have the money to go on the pill and stuff like that. And I will say this to all you ladies who bash us guys for wanting the girls to go on birth control. The second they make a mass-produced guy pill, I will be on it.
Yeah, I'll probably get it too.
I will find out how it's covered on my fucking health insurance.
Exactly.
And I will be on it.
Yeah.
Why? Because I want to be able to go get laid and not have to worry about it. And here's the thing: it's not that I don't want kids. I just don't want kids with a girl that I'm not planning on marrying.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, and that's why, like, and I've always been, and I dated a couple of girls that were on the pill, but even then, I bought condoms anyway.
I generally do.
You know, I mean, lately I haven't really been. I haven't been using them much lately, but
I can believe that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you can believe that. But there have been times where I wear the majority of the time. Mostly because, and I've been in situations where the girl will tell me to put it on, which that to me has always been something that, I've always supported. I believe that at some point, if a guy's, if you're having sex and you're not wearing a condom, at some point the woman should stop the guy and go, hey, put a condom on.
Excuse me.
So I've just always believed that. So that's my philosophy. Like, you should at some point be like, hey, because sometimes guys in the heat of the moment, they'll do whatever they can to avoid having to put one on. So you got it, and every time a girl said, hey, you got to put one on. Okay, I go, I put it on. Sometimes I remember to put it on because over the years I've been in a better state of mind, and I've learned to think rationally sometimes. I said sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. But
I gotta go to the bank today.
All right, and on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot. We got quite a few things we're going to discuss here on the Boochcast today.
In the 20 minutes we've got left.
This show's been extended today. I managed to jumpstart it to 3 hours live, so I managed to put it back, at least for the time being. I don't know if it'll stay that way, but I managed to bump it up. I kind of had to because I had a special guest that I had to extend time for, so I accommodated it. So at least for the next month, we're back to being live for 3 hours, so we don't have to worry. We're back to the 12 to 3 time slot. So we're just gonna talk. We got a couple of wrestling articles we're gonna get into, and then we're gonna talk about TNA. So before we get to TNA, I did find a couple articles because these were things that Desmond and I kind of talked about yesterday off the air that we want to discuss today. And the first thing is about we got another update with WWE 2K17. They have the Bill Goldberg entrance as well as 29 new superstars that have been announced. We've got Bill Goldberg is going to be pretty tough in this WWE 2K17 video released by IGN. Goldberg has been making the media rounds to promote the game, teasing an in-ring return, and had some choice words for Brock Lesnar last week. Now we've got a first look at his full entrance from WWE 2K17. And what I got to say about the entrance, and I'm playing it right now so we can get a good look at this. And what I love about it is that it's showing the arena here. I'm looking around. And now it actually adds where the security guard or the knocks on the door of Goldberg's locker room and opens it up. Because those you remember in WCW, they used to have like a security thing escorting Goldberg to the ring. And I love the fact they got 4 cops and Goldberg's walking in the middle while they're playing the music. And they got the WCW Nitro Arena going. And of course, there were some fans that actually complained about the fact that even though it's a WCW Arena, there's a WWE logo in the corner. People actually bitched about that. But now, of course, Goldberg comes out, and he's still looking down because he always looks down for some odd reason. And then, of course, there's the pyro because, as we all know, Goldberg's able to stand in the pyro because he's nuts. I've always been scared of that. And then, of course, there's the steam coming out of his nose, which is like literally the scariest shit on the planet. I think Goldberg explained at one point how he does that, but I can't remember what he said. And then, of course, there he is, banging his head, doing the arm roll, doing the elbow rolls and the punches as the pyro goes off. Kind of the stuff that Gilbert used to make fun of when he was in the Attitude Era, mocking Goldberg. And then, of course, Goldberg comes down, and then he gets up, walks up the ramp like he always does, gets inside the ring, and the crowd is still going crazy, and they're doing the Goldberg, Goldberg chant the way they used to do it back in the day. And then they got him grabbing the ropes like he used to and pretty much just getting ready to step in the ring and whoop some ass. And that's the entrance. I got to tell you, I love it. I think it's great.
There's something weird about the neck and goatee on Goldberg's character. When he moves, it doesn't quite look right. That's the only thing that bothers me about it. The entrance is great. I mean, the graphics for the game itself look amazing, but something about that one weird character.
Yeah. And how do you feel about the people that are complaining about the WWE logo in the corner?
Wait, what now?
And when you see the entrance, they have that WWE logo that's like right there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have y'all ever watched the WWE Network? Go back and watch the WCW matches and tell me there's not a fucking WWE logo.
Yeah, like it's literally, all of them have it.
WCW is owned by WWE.
Yeah, they're not going to put a WCW logo in the corner of their screen. You're lucky you're getting the logo. You're lucky you're getting the Nitro Arena the way it is. So I never understood that. And then, of course, as part of their weekly roster reveal, they confirmed 29 superstars for the game. Alberto Del Rio, Big Cass, Big Show, Bray Wyatt, Brock Lesnar, Carmella, Chad Gable, Darren Young, Dash Wilder, Diamond Dallas Page, Earthquake, Enzo Amore, Bill Goldberg, Jason Jordan, JBL, Mark Henry, Paige, Razor Ramon, Ric Flair, Rusev, Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe, Sasha Banks, Scott Dawson, Sheamus, The Miz, Titus O'Neil, Typhoon, Zack Ryder. I don't know who the fuck Typhoon is, but I'm intrigued by the rest of it.
Typhoon was someone who worked with Earthquake back in the day.
Was he like a tag team partner? Yeah. Oh, yeah, there he is. I see him. Yeah, because we got the whole – because I think the other day we showed the whole confirmed roster, and there's like 111 superstars, and they're not even done announcing yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm loving on it. And these are, and unlike the last game, we're not talking. We're like we got 100 characters, but 5 of them are Stone Cold.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've got 111 individual, completely different people.
And it's pretty much like we got And it's like it's NXT, WWE. I love the fact that even though they're the shining stars currently, they got Diego and Fernando as Los Matadores. So we get the Puerto Rican bullfighters in this game. And then we got they got Aiden English, they got Booker T, they got Brian Pillman, they got both Bella twins, although I'm pretty sure I don't know if Bree's gonna be in the next game since she's done now. I think it might just be Nikki. But we got the Usos, Jericho, the Wyatts. No sign of Braun Strowman. I don't think
Yeah, he is. Right there. Scroll down.
Booker T, Brie Bella.
Scroll right under Victor.
Oh. Billy. What? What the hell?
What are you looking for?
Well, what I'm trying to figure out is I thought they were doing this in alphabetical order or something. Sorry. I got confused.
I think it's just the order they announced them in.
Okay. Because I'm seeing B, B, C, D, E, F. It looks like alphabetical order.
Maybe it's by last name. Well, no, Cesaro is weird.
Yeah, this is weird.
I don't know how they're doing it. I don't
I
care.
don't either. Ooh, Nia Jax is in it too.
Yes.
All right. You got Nakamura. They got Shane McMahon, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, The Rock and Triple H. The McMahons are back. Alexa Bliss is in it. AJ Styles. We don't have to download them. We got the Dudley Boys are back. They got Tamina, despite the fact that she's injured. Oh my God, they got Fujinami. Tatsumi Fujinami, Hall of Famer. Brock Lesnar, Carmella, Diamond Dallas Page is back. It looks like they're giving him shorter hair this time instead of the long hair DDP that's in the 2K16.
They better. Or maybe they'll have both. Maybe they'll have a classic version and a more recent version.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll put in the it's me, it's DDP.
But what we're looking at here, I mean, the roster is just absolutely amazing. Scroll through there and tell me how many women are currently on the. I know it's completely out of order, but
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
20. That's a pretty good roster for the Divas.
Yeah. Although you could say 22 because the Miz kind of acts like a girl, but from a biological standpoint, it's 21. 21 divas. That is amazing. And that's of course they also threw in Trish Stratus and Lita and Alundra Blaze for good measure. So we got like classic women's wrestlers and the current women's wrestlers.
Yeah, what it is they're starting to add in. It's going to get to a point where anybody who's in the WWE Hall of Fame has a chance of being in the video games.
Absolutely, I love that. And of course, another interesting subject we can get into is there's another major discussion going on, and this is something that I can definitely talk about, is where does Dolph Ziggler go from here? This is kind of an editorial discussion written by Robert Lentini. So I'm just letting you know, if I happen to say the word I at any point while reading the article, it's Robert, not me. Dolph Ziggler's had a rough few days, and these are his opinions, not mine. On Sunday, he lost his WWE Championship match against Dean Ambrose. It didn't feel like a big match at all. One could attribute that to its placement on the card or the fact that the feud had a poor build heading into SummerSlam. On this week's episode of SmackDown, Ziggler had a chance to redeem himself.
Okay.
He has spent the past few weeks trying to prove to the WWE Universe that he's main eventer and that he belongs on the big stage. If Ziggler defeated AJ Styles on SmackDown, he would have been added to the WWE Championship match at Backlash. While Ziggler had a terrific match with Styles, he once again came up short. So what is next for Dolph Ziggler? Is it a run at the Intercontinental Championship, or does Ziggler fall right back to the bottom of the card?
Before you continue this very quick, I've got to say, of all the matches leading up to SummerSlam, I think the Ziggler and Ambrose feud had the best build.
Yeah.
There was more emotion in that build, and we got to see some of the best promos from Ziggler ever.
Yes.
And to anyone who claims otherwise, you're a fucking retard.
It was amazing. Like it was the best I'd seen Dean Ambrose because Dean called Dolph on all his bullshit, which is what I've been doing for the longest time. Like that whole "I'm gonna steal the show" crap. I'm so sick of hearing that.
But when it comes down to it, the match was a letdown.
Oh, big time.
They were not given the time it was required to make that match what it should have been.
And the fact that Cena and Styles was so amazing, the crowd was kind of tuned out after that.
Well, fuck that. If they'd have given them a proper time slot, that should have been a half-hour match as far as I'm concerned. Because those two could have easily have stolen the goddamn show.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
No, they didn't. And it really and the thing is, Ziggler has always been a superstar that has baffled me. Again, this is the article. He's a former world heavyweight champion. On the surface, it seems like he has a lot of fans out there. However, the crowd in Brooklyn was completely silent for his WWE Championship match at SummerSlam this past Sunday. In my opinion, Dolph Ziggler should be going for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know how many times WWE can book him to come up short in big matches before the WWE Universe stops taking him seriously. A lot of people have already stopped viewing him as a viable contender for the WWE Championship. Ziggler has all the in-ring talent in the world. Is it the microphone that is holding him back? I find that hard to believe because Finn Balor isn't great at cutting promos, but the WWE strapped a rocket to him and he became the first Universal Champion at SummerSlam. Finn Balor then had his title reign cut drastically short due to injury, which is also something that happened to Ziggler in the past. It'll be interesting to see if the same thing that has happened to Ziggler happens to Balor when he makes his return. Do you think Dolph Ziggler belongs in the main event and is being misused by the WWE? Has his chance to have a substantial title reign passed him by? Share your thoughts by calling in at 347-838-8433. Let us know if you feel Ziggler is being misused.
Most definitely. Ziggler most fucking definitely is being misused. Ziggler did have a stint of injuries. We know this. But the problem was he kept getting back on the horse too damn quickly. It's been years since his last major injury.
Yeah. And he's adapted his style somewhat to prevent those injuries from happening again. That was another problem. Ziggler tried to wrestle a certain way that kept getting him hurt. And he had to learn to adapt the style and wrestle smarter. And he has done that. I have preached time and time again that Ziggler should have walked out of SummerSlam WWE World Champion. If anything, that would have saved the match.
It's
because as great as it was, the fans were they were silent, dude. Yeah, they weren't getting behind it.
That's something when they make the match card, you have to have some filler matches. And I know we all hate on filler matches.
We do.
But there are people who didn't make the card at all. Give them a 5-minute match. Why couldn't we have had a Braun Strowman fucking squash match for a minute?
Yeah.
You know, give him a 5-minute match against somebody like Heath Slater. It's like
exactly.
It's like if you make that up one of the Heath Slaters if he has a chance to gain a contract, because they didn't give him that contract until after SummerSlam.
Or the tag title shot until after SummerSlam.
Right.
And Raw was still like trying to figure out what to do with him, so he could have crashed SummerSlam.
Yeah,
that would have been great.
And it would have been a good way to wind the fans down to help the fans get behind the match better.
And then maybe Byron Saxton could have gotten in the ring with Heath Slater and like tried to interview him the way he does all the other jobbers and stuff. And then Heath could have cut a better promo or something.
You know, it would have worked. It's like, and I mean, that's just one of the many options. You can't have big match after big match, especially when the match was AJ Styles and John Cena.
And it went a lot better than people thought it would.
I was like, I've seen Cena put on some phenomenal matches. I've seen AJ put on phenomenal matches. But those two together, I did not expect that from.
Because not only did they match each other move for move on multiple occasions, but the moves they put on were amazing, and everything moved fluently. Like there was no long pause. It was like you bounce from one move to another move to another to another. They knew where to place them. They knew when to fast pace and when to slow down. Like, this is literally two of the best in the world in the ring. Like I said, the top WWE guy versus the top TNA guy colliding in the match the way it should have been done.
Yeah, we didn't. It's like I was sitting there watching this the entire time I was watching the match. I'm sitting here thinking, this is a joint show. The club can get involved at any second.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And that was fucking amazing.
Yeah. Like, in Money in the Bank, it made sense for the club to show up. But SummerSlam, they needed it to be just Cena and Styles. Because the SummerSlam's your big show. Even though Money in the Bank was billed as kind of a second WrestleMania because of the stacked deck card, you had to have the club get involved. And you had to have Styles win at Money in the Bank. Then when they had the six-man tag at Battleground, Cena hit the attitude adjustment, pinned AJ Styles. That needed to happen. So now it's like, yeah, you pinned me with help. I pinned you technically with help because it's a six-man tag. Now let's see who can pin when no one's helping us. And Styles won. And then Cena took the never give up armband off and dropped it in the ring.
Now this is, I want to know, are we done, or is Cena gone for a while?
There's a possibility. I mean, I do know that his show, American Grit, got picked up for a second season. So he may have to go off to film that like he did the first time when he left. He was filming American Grit. Then he was covering, then he was doing press release for Sisters. And then when he came back, his shoulder got hurt. That's why he was gone even longer. Because when he came back in December, he injured his shoulder in that rematch with Del Rio. So that's why he was gone even longer and then finally came back when he did. But ultimately, he might be gone for a while. My big thing is, like, and I'll be honest, I kind of turned, I was at, like I said before, when SummerSlam happened, I was at the Laughing Skull getting ready for my interview with Eddie Eft. So I was kind of tuning in and out of the pay-per-view. So when I turned it on live and I saw Cena take off his never give up armband and drop it in the middle of the ring, I thought he tapped out. I found out later Styles hit the Styles Clash in the Phenomenal Forum in the 1, 2, 3. But I thought Cena had tapped. So I'm thinking, why else would you take up your never give up armband unless you tapped?
Because I think it was with how the promos were set before the thing. It was Cena was talking about how he couldn't lose to AJ and all this stuff. And AJ's like, if I win, I win. But if you win, it was like he goes into it. It's like, and Cena lost. It's like how they frozen. So Cena's like giving up on himself.
Yeah. So I want to know what's going to happen when Cena does come back. Because AJ now, because I know that's going to be a big focal point. Because AJ Styles is wearing the headband, never give up thing now.
It wasn't even a headband. It was the armband.
Yeah, he's wearing it on his freaking head.
That's how big Cena's arms are.
That's right. AJ puts that on his arm. That's just going to fall right off. But he put it like on his head. And he's wearing it like, and he wears it out to the ring. So I'm wondering, could it be a heel turn for John Cena coming up? Or could maybe he start to come back but be more insecure? Something's got to change in John Cena.
Yeah, it can't be like it was with the fucking Bray Wyatt incident.
Yeah, we know. Yes, well, we try to forget that, or at least I try to forget that.
You build this whole big monster, the monster inside of Cena, and then
there's no monster.
Suddenly it's gone.
Yeah, there's no monster.
It's over.
Or it's like with Kane, the whole embracing the hate thing, and he never embraces it. It's like they kept teasing us. And Cena said it before. He's ready to go heel if they ask him.
He's already recorded the entrance music.
Yeah, the entrance music. He's got ring gear. He's all set up. He's just waiting for them to pull the trigger. And if they tell him to pull the trigger, he'll do it. But I'm thinking like Cena can't come back and be the whole never give up, hustle, loyalty, and respect when he takes off the armband and drops it in the ring. Like, if he had never done that moment, he probably could have came back as the old Cena, but he can't be the old Cena again. It's not going to work that way. All right, and let me see here. I got 3 more articles here, and then we're going to jump into TNA. And the next one here is more details on Chris Jericho and Brock Lesnar's backstage fight at SummerSlam. As we know, Jericho and Lesnar got into it. And here we got more information is coming out regarding Chris Jericho and Brock Lesnar backstage fight altercation from SummerSlam. While Lesnar was still in the ring and Randy Orton was laying in a pool of blood, Jericho wanted to know if what transpired was exactly how it was supposed to go down. Jericho asked Michael Hayes if Lesnar went into business for himself, and Hayes gave him an answer that implied Lesnar might have gone farther than he was supposed to. Now, when Brock came through the curtain, Jericho got in his face and wanted to know what the hell happened out there. Brock essentially told him to screw off. They got in each other's faces and started shoving each other. Brock allegedly kissed Jericho on the forehead and said something along the lines of either kiss me or hit me. Triple H first tried breaking things up, and Vince wound up getting involved and putting an end to it. The following night on Raw, people were talking about what a badass Jericho was for stepping up to Lesnar, and there wasn't any heat on him over the incident.
This is interesting. I think what's been mentioned before. This is supposed to happen. This was booked to happen.
Yes.
But I still think Lesnar took it too far. And I think that's why Jericho's freaking out, because he doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Exactly. And Randy Orton has even said that he's admitted, they said that Randy didn't know about the elbow finish. Until he knew about it, but he didn't know until the night of SummerSlam. And Orton was reportedly told that Lesnar knows how to graze him with an elbow and draw blood without seriously hurting it. But the elbow ended up being more than a graze, and it required 10 staples to get shut. So Orton stayed down acting like he was knocked out, which was in the script. Medical personnel and the referee acted confused because while they knew Lesnar was going over, they weren't filled in on the details of the elbow graze. And Orton was told to do it by the company and didn't complain publicly, but he didn't seem thrilled by it and won't be doing that kind of favor again. Like, he pretty much said, I did my job, but I'm not going to agree to that again. He pretty much said, I'm never doing that again. And Orton, it turns out Orton later spoke to Jericho and told him that it was in the script so that he wouldn't lose his temper again. But yeah, Jericho, kind of got a little ballsy getting in Brock Lesnar's face.
Well, this isn't the first time either. Jericho's gotten into fights with Lesnar on his first run. They did not like each other.
Yeah. So yeah, Jericho's very, very big on protecting the business like that and, wanting to make sure nobody goes into business for themselves. And Lesnar's been shown to have a bad attitude that he doesn't give a fuck, which is causing a lot of issues with him. And in other news, we've got Bret Hart is back in the news, and he says Seth Rollins needs to work safer before someone gets killed. WWE Hall of Famer Bret Hart is speaking out once again about Seth Rollins being reckless in the ring. Over the past year, Rollins has injured some of the top stars in his business. John Cena suffered a badly broken nose last summer when Seth Rollins kneed him in the face on Monday Night Raw. Days later, Night of Champions, Rollins ended Sting's career by powerbombing him into the turnbuckles. Finn Balor will be out of action until 2017 after taking a powerbomb from Rollins outside the ring. Bret Hart says he has great respect for Seth, but he needs to improve his technique immediately before someone gets killed. In a statement issued to WrestleZone's Nick Hausman, Hart gave his thoughts on Seth Rollins injuring Finn Balor at SummerSlam. This is a direct quote from Bret Hart. I take no great pleasure in saying I told you so, but if you're a professional wrestler and you keep hurting opponents and or yourself, clearly you're doing it wrong. I wrestled a very realistic and physical style, and not once in 23 years did I ever hurt one opponent ever. Seth Rollins needs to improve his technique and become the safest wrestler in the business. I have great respect for Seth. I believe he'll improve and hopefully stop hurting the talent before someone gets killed. Wrestlers have to trust one another. If a wrestler holds the life of another wrestler in his hands for the sake of his family, wife, or children, you plain and simply cannot drop it. I saw this coming. If anything, WWE producers are negligent for not speaking up about it to him already. Instead, they're probably gushing with joy, slapping him on the back, telling him great job. Bill Goldberg was similar. When I think of Samoa Joe nearly killing Tyson Kidd, then see him continuing to use that deadly finish of his, I just shake my head. It's not real. It's only supposed to look real. Wrestlers are not crash test dummies. Seth Rollins is arguably one of the most talented performers in the business. Now, you know this isn't a quote from me, but he might want to think about the high-risk moves he performs, especially those which risk the safety and well-being of his opponents. Discussion. Is Seth Rollins an unsafe worker, or has this simply been a series of bad luck incidents? Call in at 347-838-8433 if you want to give your thoughts.
Here's where it comes down to it.
Okay.
Rollins is great in ring. He's a phenomenal in ring worker. But that particular power bomb he does, he fucks up the timing about 3 out of 4. He fucks up the timing 1 out of every 4 times he does it.
Yes.
And I'm not bashing Rollins. In general, I love watching Rollins in the ring. He's got one of those styles that I like to watch in the ring. He's a hard hitter. He has flying moves. He does a lot of stuff that I enjoy watching, and he's good at it. But that power bomb, I don't know if it's because he's too small and he can't throw him as far as he thinks he's gonna throw him, or if he's just that fucking bad at math and doesn't understand how geometry and physics work. But he throws them short. And I will say, yes, Finn Balor would not have hurt his shoulder had he not reached back. But you know what would have happened? He would have broken his goddamn neck because he was thrown too short. If he hadn't reached back, it would have been his neck that hit the back of that damn barricade, not his arm.
Yeah. So he sacrificed his shoulder to save his arm. Not only that, he popped the shoulder back into his socket and finished the match. Finn Balor's a fucking badass.
Yeah, well, you ever realize Balor's still fresh off the indies?
Yeah.
Let's be straight here. I love Balor, and you're never going to hear me bash Balor, ever. But Finn Balor, it comes from has been from too long in a situation where he didn't have that kind of a paycheck. Let's be honest here. He was making decent money because he's a star and he's a draw.
Yeah.
But if he gets injured, that's what you got to do.
Exactly.
In WWE, you get seriously injured in a match, and the ref and they decide they want to call the fight, you're still going to have a job. Because WWE is good with their people most of the time.
Yes. Especially in terms of injuries and taking care of them.
Technically, you're an independent contractor with WWE, but they still take care of you. And that's what people don't realize. It's yes, technically they are supposed to go see their own special doctors and stuff like that. And WWE does not take responsibility and all that, but that doesn't mean WWE doesn't. They still try to help their employees, especially the big names.
Yes, because they know the big names make them money. So they will do whatever they got to do to make sure that their big tops, their top stars are taken care of. And Finn Balor right now has gotten his shoulder surgery. He went to Alabama with the doctor that usually does everybody. So he'll be good. He's like you said, he's got about 4 to 6 months. But I do agree that Seth is getting kind of reckless and they need to get rid of that buckle bomb. He can't do it right.
It's a great move, and I love watching it. It's a devastating move. If you don't get rid of it altogether, limit it to major fights. To where he has time to practice and get used to that person's weight.
Yeah, both of them need to be in the performance center practicing that damn move.
There's something seriously. I'm not, as I said, I'm a fan of Seth Rollins. I can't stand him on the microphone 90% of the time.
Yes.
But in the ring, I'm a fan of Seth Rollins. And I think that he deserves to still be in the main event picture, but he also doesn't deserve to have a move that is that dangerous. They need to limit him. They need to show that they're going to do something about this because he has hurt too many people with this move.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
If it was just one time, it wouldn't be a big deal. But this is a repeat thing with this buckle bomb.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. And he definitely needs to get better control over it. And I hope he does. And then finally, we got one last article here. This is something that we definitely talked about yesterday, and this really, really pains me to say this one. But I have to be objective, damn it. The Miz cuts must-see promo on Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack. The Miz delivered one of the best promos of the year on this week's Talk Smack in a heated exchange with Daniel Bryan that saw the SmackDown general manager storm off set. If you're on the WWE Network, you are missing out on some awesome stuff after SmackDown. Each week after SmackDown goes off the air, Renee Young and Daniel Bryan host Talking Smack, a panel discussion that always produces interesting moments, whether it's poking fun at the Universal Championship or Daniel Bryan agreeing with Dean Ambrose's assessment of Brock Lesnar being lazy. On this week's episode, Nikki Bella was a guest, and she was describing her long road to recovery from neck surgery. As she was discussing this, Carmella once again attacked her, and the two brawled on the set. After the ball, Daniel Bryan and Renee Young looked shocked. The highlight of this week's Talking Smack came when The Miz cut the best promo of his career on Daniel Bryan. SmackDown general manager made it known that he's not a fan of The Miz's in-ring work. Even though he's the Intercontinental Champion and won his match at SummerSlam, he thinks The Miz wrestles like a coward and is a personification of the WWE-style wrestler. In response, The Miz absolutely went off on Bryan. Miz says Bryan is the coward for promising his fans he'd be back and then retiring. Bryan said he would love to wrestle again, but WWE won't allow him to. Miz asked Bryan if he really loved wrestling and the fans so much, why don't you quit and wrestle in bingo halls? Bryan eventually stormed off, and the show abruptly ended. The Miz showed fire in his promo, rarely seen from WWE superstars, delivering scripted monologues. Even if there are certain wrestlers who need to be scripted, this segment was damning evidence that the men and women who could speak should be left to their own devices. Maurice, who was on set during the segment, tweeted about what happened. Heroes stand up for what they believe in. Cowards walk away. And before we share our thoughts, I have the clip. This is The Miz on Talking Smack.
There's no gentle way to say it. To me, you wrestle like a coward. You wrestle like somebody who's afraid to get hit. Like, I wrestle like a coward. I wrestle like a coward. I'm one. If I were to create a wrestler who, to me, like embodies, like when I was an independent guy and I was thinking like, oh, okay, what's the soft WWE style? It would be that. WWE's transformed in the last. You had your chance to talk. You're the one that called me a coward in the wrestling ring. I'm the coward in the wrestling ring. Yeah. So let's talk about cowards for 1 second. The reason I wrestle the way I wrestle is because I can do it day in and day out all the time for 10 plus years. I have never in my career ever have been injured. I don't get injured for 6 months to a year. I am here each and every week. But you sit there and call me a coward? I'm the coward. Wait, let me tell you about a coward. Let me tell you about a guy who tells his WWE fans, the people that he loves, that he will be back. He promises them. I promise you, I will be back in 1 year's time to claim this title. But you didn't, Daniel, did you? But I'm the coward. I'm the one that doesn't love if they would let me come back, I would come back. Oh, you would? Yeah. You would. You love that WWE ring. You love being wrestling. You love being right in that wrestling ring, and you love wrestling, right? Well, why don't you quit? Why don't you quit and go to the bingo halls with your indie
Okay, I think you need to calm. That's not what this show talking about?
GM, have this. Thank you very much, Renee. This is a great show, but we're talking here. I need to talk to you real quick because the fact is, you're the one that calls me the coward, but you're the one that doesn't get the WWE ring again. No, don't you walk away from me, Daniel. Don't you walk away. I'm the one that loves the fans. I'm the one that loves everyone and everything. You're the one that gets up and walks away every single time. You're the coward. I am not a coward. I am your Intercontinental Champion, and there's a reason I am the title. Reason making this the most relevant, prestigious title that WWE has, and I deserve a respect on SmackDown Live. Get that camera right here. Get that camera right here. Understand that this is day 141 of the never-ending Intercontinental Championship World Tour, and I swear to you, I promise you, it will be the most relevant title on SmackDown Live. I could care less about those little kids out to the tag team titles and the Women's Championship and the WWE Championship. This is my show. My show. And I'm sick of all of you, my GM, sitting there criticizing me, calling me the coward. You're the cowards. I'm the one here day in and day out in that wrestling ring beating people up. Thank you very much.
Well, I guess it's safe to say that The Miz is not a coward, apparently.
You know, he doesn't take any risks in the ring. The man doesn't. But you know what? When's the last time you saw Randy take a serious risk in the ring?
Sunday?
I really don't think he took a real risk there. He got himself bloodied. It happens.
He got in a ring with Brock Lesnar. That's a risk no matter how you see it.
Well, you can't, I mean, let's be honest here. Everybody is like, everybody, if they want to be relevant right now, is eventually going to end up in a ring with Brock Lesnar.
Pretty much. And get their ass kicked in the process.
But as far as taking as far as having a risky wrestling style, there's a lot of really people who don't take a lot of risks. And Miz does not take risks. He's got a very simplistic moveset that allows him to, do what he has to do. But unfortunately, because he doesn't take those risks, he's really not that smooth in the ring.
He's not at all.
Now, he's not the worst in the ring. He's nowhere near as bad as he was when he fucking joined WWE.
Oh, God.
Mr. Mike Real World Asshole.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But The Miz has gotten better. But he's still not exciting in the ring. There's nothing exciting about him.
He's not.
And that promo, now listening to it, this is the first time I've actually heard the promo. I've heard people talk about the promo. Honestly, I don't think it was that great.
I don't either.
It was literally just him bitching and repeating it over and over again. And I'm the coward. Oh, God, get over it.
That's the problem. He practically spammed the word coward. And if you notice it, the promo started off great, but about 30 seconds at the end, you can tell he had no idea how to end it. It's like at the end, he was like a deer in the headlights.
It wasn't thought out enough. And I'm not bashing The Miz. I've seen him cut good promos. It does happen. But that wasn't as good as people were making it out to be.
I agree wholeheartedly. Like he's The Miz. I wouldn't say The Miz isn't necessarily The Miz is a coward. If he is, it's because he's a heel, and heels are supposed to be cowards. But he's just not entertaining. And in terms of making, and the bottom line is this: the Intercontinental title is not as prestigious as it used to be, and The Miz will not do a single thing to help it. He's had it for He's on. This is day 141 of The Miz never-ending Intercontinental title tour. No one gives two squirts of piss about The Miz as Intercontinental champion. No one finds it exciting. No one finds it relevant. No one finds it interesting in the slightest. The fact that he beat Apollo Crews is fucking ridiculous. That's one of the fakest things I've ever seen in wrestling. And yes, I know I'm using the word that we should never use when discussing wrestling, but I'm sorry. The Miz beating Apollo Crews, that's about as fake as you can get.
It was a waste of a fucking match. It wasn't even a good match, and that's what pissed me off. If Apollo Crews can't put on a good match with you, something's wrong.
Yeah, and it's not wrong with him. He may be new to WWE, but he is not green in the ring.
The man has been putting on 5-star matches since his debut in NXT. Keep him away from the damn microphone.
Yeah. get him a goddamn manager or something, or an advocate or whatever. But make him a Paul Heyman guy if you want to switch him heel. But the dude is amazing in that ring. The Intercontinental title is tailor-made for Apollo Crews. The Miz, I'm sorry, he's not. In my opinion, the only thing he's good for is Miz TV. Let him get a microphone and speak. But he's not a great wrestler. And to me, he's wasting that title on someone that it could really help. And he's wasting valuable ring time with guys who actually can wrestle. The Miz, he did nothing to. He may have persuaded some people with that promo, mostly because it had a lot of anger, heart, and emotion in it. But that's really all he brought to the table. It's not going to help him in the long run. I still think that the Miz is going to be boring as champion, and the only way I see this going on is if somehow, some way, Daniel Bryan can convince a WWE doctor to let him wrestle again and have it be him and the Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know if that affects him as general manager. I don't know. But that's the only way I see that happening. Because Daniel Bryan's been medically cleared to wrestle by every doctor except the ones that work for WWE. That's the only reason. Like, if Daniel Bryan did leave the WWE, he could go to TNA. He could go to Ring of Honor. He could go to Lucha Underground. And they would let him wrestle. Because every other doctor has told him he can. So, the question is, will Daniel Bryan, will he leave the WWE when his contract expires? Or is he going to stick around?
I think if the money's right, he'll stick around.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to bash me for saying that, but I don't care who the fuck you are. I said it once, I'll say it again. Everybody's got a price.
Yeah.
And Daniel Bryan's got a family.
Yeah. Even Jesse Ventura has said that Vince could have me back tomorrow. He puts the decimal point in the right place.
It really is that simple.
Yeah.
I don't care. You can bash CM Punk all you want. He can say he'll never go back to WWE. They give him a bigger check than John Cena? Yeah.
Well, yeah, it all depends on how much money he makes in UFC. If he does well in his fight, which is coming up September 10th.
Yeah, here's the thing about the UFC, though. It's real. He loses. He doesn't make so much money.
Yeah. And I think UFC has a policy, if you lose like 3 fights in a row, not like in your whole career, but like 3 fights in a row, they fire you. Because that means you're not producing. I've heard that somewhere. I don't know if that may or may not be true, but I heard that from somebody who's a UFC fan, and they know more about UFC than I do, so I'm pretty much just gonna stick with that. And I got plenty of people I should buy that for. But anyway, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to commence with the with the recap of TNA Impact Wrestling. We got some time. And the show kicks off with an interesting altercation, not a fight, an altercation between EC3 and Drew Galloway, who they don't meet in the ring. They meet at a really nice house by a pool. Here's why.
Thank you for the invite to this summit. What do you call it?
Let me get something about me. I didn't give you any invite. I was just told to be here.
Seems that the office decided to stir the pot before a big match.
Shut up.
talked about doing this in the future, but no time like the present.
Shit, all the whiskey. Never gonna say no to free whiskey. Shall we? We shall.
Well, I guess they are actually going to laugh at their career over a couple of drinks.
Sure.
Yeah, what better? And the thing is, that's usually how most guys, if they have an argument, that's how they settle the differences. It's like we just sit down and sometimes we'll just sit and discuss it over a pint. Although I will say that's how Magnus and Bram tried to settle their differences, and it didn't end well for them. But who knows? Maybe with EC3 and Drew Galloway, miracles can happen. Speaking of miracles, that does segue us into into the first official match of the evening, which is the Battle Royal to determine the number one contender for the TNA World Title. We saw the Bromans, Robbie E and Jesse Goddard, Eli Drake, the Tribunal, Basile Baraka and Baron Dax, Grado, Mahabali Shira, the Miracle Mike Bennett, Moose, and Eddie Edwards, all in one big Battle Royal.
This. Yeah, that was up.
I take it you didn't enjoy the Battle Royal.
It was boring. It really was. There was no, it was like the most generic battle royal I've ever seen.
Yeah. And it was with dudes. Usually you get a generic battle royal with the ladies, but the guys, they were like, pretty much the only thing interesting that happened was at one point, Eli Drake was getting thrown out of the ring, and like he was on his side, and then he kind of fell over, but his legs got caught in the ropes. So he was kind of dangling back like this. So technically he could, still get in. So basically he had to reach up, touch his toes, and pull himself back in the ring. And so to me, that was pretty cool. Because usually when you see somebody get eliminated, they do that thing where they hold onto the ropes with their arms. They got like one foot in the air, so the other foot doesn't touch the ground. It was cool to see it go the other way with like 2 feet caught in the ropes and your upper body is down, so you can just pull yourself back up. I'm surprised Kofi Kingston hadn't done that in a Rumble yet. But if he does, I know they will have taken it from TNA. And then, of course, the Battle Royal ends with Moose taking Edwards for a powerbomb. But then as he takes Edwards over the ropes, Mike Bennett tosses them both over the top rope to win the match. So the winner and the number one contender is the Miracle, Mike Bennett. Moose is pissed off outside the ring. But Lashley is smiling because he knows he is going to destroy the Miracle in this match. And I will say to me it's hilarious because I felt Mike Bennett should have won the Bound for Glory playoffs and gotten the world title shot in the first place. Because otherwise, what's the point of even bringing in Moose if he can't help you win? But now it's even more interesting because now we know the Miracle will be facing Bobby Lashley. But now we see Moose getting all pissed off, so we have no idea if Moose is actually going to help. And if you want to know just how pissed off Moose was, check out this next segment because after a commercial break, we see Moose in the ring. I mean, we see Moose and Mike Bennett backstage, and here's what goes down.
He's always screwing everything. He was going to put you out, and I was trying to run him.
So I guess the Miracle's having a hard time restraining Moose.
Moose shall not be contained. Moose Tarzan.
I don't know, like Moose seems like the kind of guy you wouldn't want to piss off.
Well, he's a big ass motherfucker. I don't care who you are. You're a big ass motherfucker. You kind of person nobody wants to piss off.
Exactly. And I will say this. I will say that the only thing about Moose there's two things about Moose that are annoying me. And it has nothing to do with him. It has all to do with creative. Number one, I don't like the fact that Moose is not coming out, that Moose doesn't come out to his entrance music, which we heard in his debut, which is the thing that gets him over. And number two, my biggest gripe is that every time he goes out the ring, all I ever hear about him is how he's an NFL star from the Atlanta Falcons. All right, look. I get this, TNA, you're not WWE. You can talk about past accomplishments from other wrestlers and other organizations. Okay? Moose is not just a star from the Atlanta Falcons. He was a dominant wrestler in Ring of Honor who was undefeated for an entire year before losing to Cedric Alexander, who's currently in the Cruiserweight Classic and might be signed to WWE. But Moose was undefeated. He was a dominant monster. That's why some of the crowd knows who he is. Because we watch other things besides TNA and WWE. And I really wish they would start, at least with AJ Styles, they mentioned the shit he did in Japan. And say he's a wrestling star around the world. Do the same thing with Moose. Don't just make him out to be some football playing joke. That just gripes me. And on that note, we cut back to the ring where we see once again a broken Matt Hardy standing in the ring. And as we all know last week, broken Matt Hardy and his obsolete mule, Brother Nero, captured, won the contract in the Ascension to Hell match to earn the right to face Decay for the TNA World Tag Team titles. And here's what Broken Matt has to say about being one step closer to procuring the tag team titles.
Look at what I hold in my hands. To you ants, it may look like a mere piece of pepper, but that is not the case. It is a majestic key that unlocks destiny. And that destiny is the tag team titles of the world. Titles that are currently decaying and can only be restored with my broken brilliance.
felt so great about that. It's gonna be just like me. Beautiful. I am beautiful. And so will your destruction. This is not a game. You may think, Matthew, that you have so much to gain from us, when in reality you have so very much to lose. Matthew, you are not broken, but today we will shatter you. And we will shatter your legacy. Everything that you built, we will take it away from you. Poof. It's gone forever. And no matter how many premonitions you may have, you will never see us coming. Oh, Steven, you are wrong, because in my premonition, I saw very vividly which member of you three tried to abduct King Maxwell. And for that sin, I promise, I swear, tonight, the member of you that did that, I can tell every time I say his name, your adrenaline level spikes. I will eat you. I will eat you. I will eat you.
Broken one, you may be used to that one doing what you say, but we don't play by your rules.
You don't even understand my rules. I am from another place. I'll tell you what. My nefarious brother Nero is here to fight. He is here to work. Which one of you three decayed demons want to step up and face my nefarious brother Nero? Ho, 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 ho. Family, Steve, Rosemary, Jeffrey. As I recall, your and my history is beautiful. What do you say? One more time, you and me. Come on, you broken son of a bitch. It's a party. Going after the monster of it. It looks like it's going to be Brother Nero versus the Beast.
You know, Broken Matt never ceases to amaze me. I tell you, man, I could watch that all day long. Broken Matt and Brother Nero. So, is this your first time getting to experience that?
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced on him yet.
Okay.
I'm not gonna bash him. I'm just not convinced on him yet. Not like that.
Okay.
I do love that it appears that Broken Matt is becoming face because he's working with Jeff, who's still chanting for the fans.
Yes. It's slowly. Well, the thing is, he turned face very quickly because fans got behind the craziness of Matt Hardy. Like right now, he's telling him to delete him. And fans would start chanting, delete, delete, delete. And then during the final deletion between him and Jeff, at one point he was running away because Jeff was shooting fireworks at him. And he went, "It's the dilapidated boat!" And he got behind the boat, this little mini rowboat, and it started shooting at him. And he used it for, and then he got a drone called Vanguard 1. And he just took it to ridiculous lengths. And some wrestling purists are shitting all over it, but it's the funniest thing. It's the best thing in wrestling.
I know that was was it Psycho Steve or Crazy Steve or whatever the fuck.
Crazy Steve, yeah.
Crazy Steve. Are all these guys the people from the carnival?
No, the carnival's been gone.
Yeah, I know, but that's what it's like. It's like Crazy Steve and that chick. They just remind me of. I was wondering if I know that's Abyss, which is weird seeing him without the mask.
Yeah, now he just has a painted face like Decay.
But I was impressed hearing him talk. I didn't think of Abyss as a good talker.
Oh yeah, he's gotten much better with his mic skills, and Crazy Steve's just recently started talking.
But I just want the chick.
Yeah. She is a whole nother level of crazy.
She's Harley Quinn. You can't tell me she's not basing her entire character off of Harley Quinn.
It definitely is. The only difference is that she's kind of like in control as opposed to Harley Quinn, who was practically submissive to the Joker.
But the Joker's the only person she's ever been submissive to. If you actually pay attention to all the Harley Quinn stuff, yeah. She's been a leader in times that, and in the comics when Joker died, she took over Joker's gang.
Okay, all right, that's interesting.
She's generally a very headstrong person, but okay. Joker was just that good at the mind games that he twisted her to follow him.
Okay, that's good. Now here's a good part right here, and then right now we're analyzing the. As obviously after all the fights and everything that goes down and the promo, which I thought was great from both sides. I thought it was very great. We now go to the match, Jeff Hardy versus Abyss. And, so far it's been a decent match. But here in this moment right here, you watch, that's Jeff kind of saying, in a way, up yours to Broken Matt. And he pretty much is jumping off the rope because even though Broken Matt and Brother Nero are sort of on the same page now because Jeff's finally becoming broken himself, he is still doing the whole jump off the top rope thing, which is something Matt is trying to get him to stop doing. He's like, stop being a spot monkey. Wrestle with honor. Like, that's his big thing. He's tired of Jeff putting his body through everything. It feels like he's too reckless. And it's going to cost him the championship because he saw that in his premonition. I don't know. How you feeling about the match?
I like watching Jeff beat people up. I've been a fan of Jeff Hardy since he was 16 and already on the WWE roster.
Well, I don't know. Do you feel that he's being a spot monkey and needs to wrestle a different style?
He is definitely a spot monkey. And no, he should not change that. That's why the fans love him.
Exactly.
He does stupid stuff that can hurt himself. The fans cheer.
Yes. And the crazy part is, at some point in the match, you're going to see it. Matt Hardy realizes that, like he said, I saw in my premonition which one of you was going to hurt King Maxwell. And then he finds out it's Crazy Steve. And then Matt will do his stereotypical thing where he, like when he says, I will eat you, which I still found that part odd. I like delete better than eat. But he just Crazy Steve's face. It gets insane. And I just find it funny because he's just that damn good. And Abyss, obviously, him and Jeff are great in the ring. And he said, like right here, he's showing about Crazy Steve. And then just watch right here. Just like biting his ear. Like
they're becoming more and more zombie.
Yeah. And then Matt's literally going insane. Like he's been biting people like crazy. Like at one point,
this looks like he's trying to make out with him.
I know it does.
That's really, really, really bad positioning.
Yeah. And then now there's Rosemary spitting the mist in Jeff Hardy's face. Like one's got red mist, the other's got green mist. And now Abyss grabs Jeff. Here's the black hole slam. Boom. And then the 1, 2, 3, Abyss wins the match, which I guess in a way I kind of enjoyed because I think that when it comes to this rivalry, I think that with Abyss winning, it helps transition Brother Nero into becoming more and more broken. And I think that the more broken Brother Nero becomes, holy shit, look at his ear. The more broken he becomes, the more unified as a team Matt and Jeff are going to be in this rivalry. I think the more together they are, the better these promos are going to be with Decay, because they're equally as twisted, equally as nuts. And I know the tag titles match is going to happen at Bound for Glory, and I think it's going to steal the show.
It very well could. I just want my Harley Quinn chick.
All right. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, now, of course, after the match, as you can see here, Matt Hardy's kind of staring them down with the blood on his face after trying to bite off Crazy Steve's ear, showing he is equally as twisted and demented as he is. We hear Broken Matt, and here's what he has to say to Decay after the match.
Decay, your day of deletion will soon come at my hands. Brother Nero, Grasshopper, you still have many things to learn. I told you fight with honor. You go to this top rope, you jump around like an honorable evolved gorilla. Look what it cost you. It cost you your health. It cost you this fight. And I will not allow it to cost me those tag team titles. You must learn to accept that you are broken. Stop fighting me. Stop fighting it. Embrace it.
Well, I guess now Brother Nero is on another path, and it looks like the Spot Monkey days might be over.
I doubt that.
Do you think that if Jeff Hardy continues to be the Spot Monkey, that it will cost him the tag belts at Bound for Glory, or do you think that Jeff really has to change his style for us to see a tag title victory?
I think I've never seen Jeff win without being a spot monkey.
Neither have I. Neither have I. And I will say this: Matt and Jeff need to win the tag belts at Bound for Glory. Thank you. They need to win the tag belts at Bound for Glory. And the reason they need to win the tag belts at Bound for Glory is because, A, Decay is not doing much with the tag team belts right now. And B, the Hardys are so over right now with this broken gimmick. It is literally the talk of the wrestling world. And I believe that they need to be the tag team champions because they will bring more to the tag team division than the other tag teams, or lack thereof. Because all you got really is the Tribunal, the Bromans, Decay, right now the Broken Hardys, or at least now that's not what they're called, that's what I'm calling them. And that's really about it. Other than that, we don't really have any other gifted tag teams to really carry the division. And on that note, we move on to the next segment here. We cut backstage with Maria, Sienna, and Allie, who find out that Sienna has to defend the Knockouts Championship. And apparently Maria didn't authorize a match. So here's what Maria has to say about her authority being overridden.
I cannot believe this happened. Allie, you're supposed to know every single thing that happens around here, and I didn't know about Sienna's title match. How could this happen? You get a lot of emails. Will go over my head. Hi, Billy.
Hi, Maria. How are you? How's things? Actually, I made the knockout title match.
Oh, okay.
not equals. I am now president of TNA. I don't know if you heard. You might have checked some things. Anyway, I can't alter your agreement with Gail Kim, but I can make your champion face someone for sticking her nose in last week's match.
I'm sorry, am I supposed to be scared? There's not a woman on this roster that is bigger, faster, or stronger than me. So who you got, Billy?
You might want to get your little turkey gobbler thing and kind of mosey on down the ring because your match is coming up next. And by the way, there might be more than one person, so you might want to get going with that.
So turns out the knockouts, we could see a multiple knockouts match. And for those of you that may not know, we can now officially say it. Billy Corgan is the new president of TNA.
Okay. I have no idea who the fuck that is.
You don't know who Billy Corgan is?
No.
He's the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins.
Okay, so a band that I know maybe one or two songs of.
Okay. But yeah, he's the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins. He got an executive job in TNA, and he's now been made the president. Apparently, Dixie Carter is still like still like the chairperson of TNA, but she stepped down as from the presidential role, and Billy Corgan's taking it over. My guess is Dixie still makes a lot of decisions, but they probably did it as a PR move. Since Dixie has a lot of negative publicity against her, because a lot of wrestling fans truly despise Dixie Carter. And on that note, we'll cut to the backstage area again, where we see Bobby Lashley, the TNA World Champion, is confronting the Miracle Mike Bennett. And here's what they have to say. Here's what the champ has to say to his new challenger.
Careful. You ever hear that little adage, be careful what you wish for? Oh, all right, let me get it. This is the moment where you try to intimidate me, right? You make me think that I can't beat you. Let me tell you something. From the minute I've gotten here, I've beaten everyone that's been put in front of me. I just beat like 100 guys in one match. So you know what? Now that I have my shot, I'm going to beat you and win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. You see, I'm glad you actually believe all that. Well, you know you got this far because of the help you got. First your wife, Booch. You see, this title shot's going to backfire on you. I don't need help, Mike. Okay? They love Drew. They love EC3. But I'm being one of these guys that bounce the boys. Yeah, you know what? That's your problem. You're looking past me. But you know what? You need to be worried about next week. You need to be worried about the Miracle. You know, based on what I saw earlier, you need to worry about moves. You see, I can handle it. Fucking you.
Well, so we guess we now know it'll be the Destroyer versus the Miracle next week on Impact Wrestling.
This sounds like a really, really pathetic name. The Destroyer versus what?
The Destroyer versus the Miracle. Bobby Lashley's nickname is the Destroyer, and Mike Bennett's nickname is the Miracle.
That sounds like a really bad horror flick. Destroyer versus the Miracle.
I think next week it is going to look like a bad horror flick. You know, I just want to know if Mike Bennett's actually going to win, and if he does, is Moose going to help him? Because as we all know, Moose is pissed off at Bobby Lashley right now. So I don't know what we can expect next week in TNA. And on that note, I can see Desmond's look on his face. So we're going to address what he's been staring at, or what I've had him staring at for the longest time. And that is the TNA Knockouts Championship match where Sienna defended the title against Marty Bell, Madison Rayne, Allie, and Jade.
Okay, I don't know who's who. I'm not going to pretend I know who's who.
Okay.
But that bitch look like, okay, let's say you've got the 4 biggest, baddest athletes in the world, and then there's this bitch. You know, the one who's like, oh my God, the cheerleader chick who's all clapping and yay.
And has the high squeaky voice.
Yeah.
It's like, it sounds like fucking Beaker.
She just got, she got in everybody's way. Nobody even paid attention to her most of the damn match.
Yeah.
She got accidentally knocked out, fell on top of somebody, while everyone else is fighting elsewhere, and wins.
Yes.
Are they trying to bury their women's division?
Well, they did a hell of a job because Allie is now the new TNA Knockouts champion. I don't know if they're trying to bury the women's division or if they're just trying to create another story, because I think it's meant to be controversial. Because here's the thing about Allie that people need to remember. Most people don't know this. We found it out later. She is a legit indie wrestler. She's just not playing one on TNA. She wrestles in the indies as Cherry Bomb. So she is an actual wrestler. It's not like this isn't like a David Arquette situation here. It's booked that in a way. It's kind of booked like that, but she's not like a David Arquette kind of person. She is an actual wrestler. She just hasn't been portraying one on TV. That's the difference. But you know, and the crowd was actually chanting for Allie after the match ended. So Allie's actually becoming a bit of a fan favorite, but I'm sure there was. I know there was one part that definitely caught Desmond's attention, and that was Jade with the package pile driver.
They won't even let Kevin Owens use a package pile driver in WWE, but in TNA we got a chick using it.
Yeah, and that was awesome. And of course, the other high spot that I enjoyed was Allie hitting that. Allie somehow managing to hit a stunner.
It was almost more like a jawbreaker. Her head was on top.
Yeah, like the jawbreaker. She like drop them with a jawbreaker. So she did get a couple moves in, but it was still definitely one of the most insane women's matches on the planet, and definitely, definitely a bit of a shocker because Maria can't believe it as Allie's now Knockouts champion. Sienna joins Maria in disbelief, which basically tells everybody. And the thing is this: how are Maria and Sienna going to react next week with Allie being the Knockouts champion? Because technically, it's one of those things where it's still within their trio. It's just Sienna's not the champ right now.
Can we see another evolution moment? Anybody who's not a champion but Triple H got their ass kicked.
Pretty much. Or got kicked out, yeah. Or tried to oppose him. Got kicked out, which was kind of like one of those insane moments. So I think we could be seeing that. I think Allie could, especially with the fact that the crowd is chanting for Allie, I think that she is going to, no doubt, become like a babyface wrestler, I think. I don't know if that means she's going to win a lot, but I see her definitely becoming a babyface throughout all this. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut to the backstage segment here, and we've got Aaron Rex, who we all know as Damian Sandow, who is now in TNA. And as we know, he'll be the special guest referee for the main event match between EC3 and Drew Galloway. And here's what Aaron Rex has to say about taking over the reins.
Everyone that's ever set foot in a wrestling ring wants to be world heavyweight champion. Tonight, EC3 and Drew Galloway get to face off and see who gets that opportunity. That's what it's about. Opportunity, making an impact. That's why I came here. And that's why I went to management and asked them if I could be the referee for this match. I know both men. I know both men well. This is going to be a good one. And at the end of the night, one of these men will be bound for glory. I guarantee it.
So, is it safe to say If you replace the W and when, where, what, and where with a T, you answer the questions.
When becomes then, what becomes that, and where becomes there.
Like that. Like that. And of course, Aaron Rex definitely willing to call the match right down the middle. So the big question is, can we trust Aaron Rex to call the match down the middle? Because while he has come in and talked about wanting an even playing field and that he wants to be with a company where the fans' intelligence aren't insulted and their opinions aren't thrown out the window, does that mean that Aaron Rex might not be trying a heel turn? Because at the end of the day, you can be as nice or as kind or as generous as you want, but at the end of the day, it's all about the TNA World Title.
I want to see Damian Sandow win the title, and just because he was never given the shot in WWE properly.
Yeah,
and I believe he's everybody, he deserves it.
Well, yeah, and that's pretty much what TNA is about. It's about, pretty much you can have the opportunity to win. And of course, on that note, we move on to the next segment here that we've got. We got a backstage interview with Allie. Allie has just become the Knockouts champion in a controversial fashion. And here's what Allie has to say about being the new Knockouts champion.
How you feeling right now?
Okay. Did anybody understand what the hell she just said? I don't speak Chihuahua.
I was gonna say squirrel, but
I love the fact she was like, "I'm really excited! I'm so excited!" What do you think Maria's gonna say? And she went, "Oh." Like, you just saw her look so defeated when she realizes I'm fucked next week. I am in such deep shit, as I am going to be in so much trouble with, my boss now, because that's probably what is going to happen. We think that Maria and Sienna are probably going to go after Allie big time. And oh, snap. And I think that that's definitely going to be something that we have to, look forward to and to check out. And I think Allie is either going to be a babyface champion, or this could be something where Maria might try to get the belt, because I know Maria wants to be Knockouts champion without ever actually having to wrestle for it. And she's already in charge of the Knockouts. So if she's champion on top of that, she may never defend that belt ever. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we cut to the next segment, which is the Whiskey Summit, as I'm calling it, where EC3 and Drew Galloway sat down, had a couple drinks, and aired out their differences before they step into the ring in the main event. And here's what went down between EC3 and Drew Galloway.
What happened to us? What's going on? What do you say? Any shot? Any cool stuff? Any shot. Momentum stuff. All right, so what the hell's your problem? Oh, we're going to get right into it. You know what my problem is? 3 times you've cost me the world title. What's going to happen here? C3 and Drew Galloway trading punches, leaving man backing down. Last got retained a world title. You know how much I want that means to me. This is how much it means to you. And I know mean it. And I've seen the footage, but I asked you as my friend, please stop sticking your nose in. And you couldn't help yourself. I did not want your help. All to be world champion. The reason I'm not is you.
The way I look at it, the reason you're not world heavyweight champion is because you lost. Now, can I get involved?
Yes. And so you asked, I'm trying not to jump in, I asked you not to. It was very specific. After the first, and then after the second time, I couldn't have been any more clear, and I'm trying to let you see your piece right here. I asked you, as my friend.
I guess the third time's the charm. I made a mistake, and I apologize to you. I apologize to you for that mistake. By granting you that you really truly want, you be me, you go to Bound for Glory to reclaim your World Heavyweight Championship.
I'm going to be straight up with you, man. When it comes to this match, it's going to be a different level, and I'll be hitting harder than I've ever hit in my life.
Galloway got him!
I am the guy, and I am going to win this Thursday.
Everything you do to me in that ring, you know I will reciprocate fully upon you. CC3! 1%er! I'm going to prove you. I am seeking my perfect moments. That's why we are here.
Justify.
A man, Drew Galloway, a martyr to the industry. May I give it up one time with one final toast to my good friend Drew. As we cheers the future EC3 time World Heavyweight Champion.
All right, man. How about instead we cheers to our cats instead?
Either way.
Nice catchphrase, though.
Okay. I truly look forward to your challenge this Thursday. Glad we did this.
It's been fun, man. I do appreciate it. It reminds me of old times. Seriously, it was a good time.
Yeah. The catchphrase is pretty sweet, right?
The master of the catchphrases.
EC3 time.
You got the chat. I got it. Singing your music.
There we go. There we go.
Take care, bud.
You know, I'm really looking forward to seeing it after Bound for Glory when I win the World Heavyweight Championship.
Come on, you know not to turn your back on Galloway. I'll see you Thursday, pal. Deuces.
Wow. That summit ended interestingly. EC3 going right into the pool. And what's funny is that when he popped out, he did the spitting water thing like Triple H.
Well, you know, when you go underwater unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And if you've never, as a wrestling fan, if you've never tried that, you're lying.
Yes. Well, mostly it's because EC3 wanted to mock Triple H because he's not a big fan of Triple H. He feels he's one of those guys that felt like Triple H wronged a lot of people in the industry.
Well, he did.
You know, and he felt that Triple H played a role in the reason why EC3 never got a real good run in WWE or even an opportunity. And
I was saying, I didn't even know he had anything to do with WWE.
well, he did a couple. Yeah, there was a moment where he was one of those like security guards that would get dressed up sometimes, and it turns out they use a lot of indie wrestlers for that, or a lot of their developmental talent to come in as like security guards and shit like that. I learned that. Like I know that
get thrown around and shit.
Yeah, there's actually a picture that Bobby Roode posted of him in a cop outfit with Triple H, who was like when he was a star in the Attitude Era, and then it had a picture of right next to that picture was Triple H and Bobby Roode taking a picture at NXT, saying, you know, he said the road is long, but the destination is glorious, and it was showing that, you know, look how much can change in a lifetime.
Oh.
Yeah, it was kind of an emotional moment for him. But of course, and then of course, you know, the interesting thing with Galloway and EC3 was I love the toast. I love the throwing into the pool and everything. And I think that this could be one hell of a fight that we're going to see between these two.
You get the feeling that this match ends again, or being the worst of bitter enemies.
That's the only two ways that match can go. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next segment here, which is we see Moose leaving the building. He's still angry and pissed off over what went down, when all of a sudden a car pulls up. And in the car just happens to be the champ, Bobby Lashley. And here's what he has to say to the angry Moose.
Moose, what's up, man? You know, one day you might not have to park so far away. Or hang out with losers like Bennett. Because you know he's going to keep pulling your puppet strings forever, right? I've been there. Yeah, man. Good. I'm going to be having dinner there tonight. Once you swing by, maybe we'll have a steak or something and chop it up and chat about your future. And then just maybe, I'll let you pick up the tab. All right, bro?
Wow. Moose seemed to really look at that card as to where Bobby was going to be having dinner.
Well, champion, asshole who threw you out of the match. I'm going with the champion.
Yeah, exactly. Even though technically Moose, when he debuted, did manhandle Lashley, it's like Lashley's willing to extend an olive branch. So, yeah, the asshole did kind of throw him out of the ring. And Bennett, I love how Bennett tried to defend himself by saying, I thought he was going to give you a hurricanrana and I came to help. It's like, dude, you blatantly grabbed his leg and threw his ass over. There is no justification for that. I can understand if Moose was teetering and then he went to go grab Eddie Edwards and then you kind of threw out. But there was no getting around that Mike Bennett intentionally threw Moose out of that ring to win.
Oh, yeah.
And he made Moose angry. And, Moose is not somebody you want to make angry. That is not good at all. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we have now, as most people know, on WWE, they have a lot of talk shows. They've had the Highlight Reel, Miz TV, even the Cutting Edge Peep Show when Edge and Christian show up. But TNA has a talk show of their own. It's called Fact of Life. And it's hosted by Eli Drake. And I've been telling Desmond about how great of a talker Eli Drake is and the interesting persona that he has. Well, now Desmond gets to hear it firsthand. Here is Fact of Life with Eli Drake. His special guest is the entire X Division, as next week they'll be competing in an Ultimate X match to crown a new X Division champion since Bobby Lashley vacated the title.
Ultimate X, isn't that weird ladder type, weird kind of match?
Yeah, it's where the things are on a string, but there's no ladders. You have to kind of climb up to get it.
Okay, yeah.
And here is Fact of Life, Eli Drake with the X Division.
Welcome, everybody. Here we are in beautiful, sunny Orlando, everybody. It's another edition of Fact of Life, brought to you by WCCC and Bubba Booey. And now, here's your host, Eli Drake. Yeah. Let me talk to him. You want to talk about crooked systems? People talk about rigged systems in politics. Look no further than right here in Impact Wrestling. Let's just go ahead and think about the Battle Royal that took place just a little bit ago. Whoever thought of that one, dummy. Yeah. Shut up, dummy. Don't talk to me. But I tell you what, when it comes down to TNA management, here's what I'm saying. I can change my tune if somebody wants to walk on down and bring back my King of the Mountain title. That's about what I thought, because TNA management, dummy, yeah. When I say dummy, you say yeah. Dummy, yeah. I'm not talking to you dummies, I'm talking to me. Yeah. So that brings me to the X Division title, because next week there's going to be a new see everybody's eyes on it. But as I look around here, it gets me wondering, you know, everybody always asks the same questions. Why are you going to be the X Division champion? Why are you going to be the X Division champion? Well, I'm not going to ask any of that boring crap. Instead, I'm going to ask exactly who you might think has absolutely no chance. I can tell you that. Wrestling Son, you great on. You have absolutely no chance. I mean, the X Division champion. I know you've done all these paper falls with your stupid little sub story. I made it to Impact Wrestling. I made it to the big time. Congratulations, Vinny. I was here 4 years ago. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at? I'm sorry, you tried to talk such a big game, but I feel like I'm looking a little crybaby. I'm not a crybaby. I'm not a crybaby. Then why do you praise it? He's a freak. You're from North Carolina. That's just enough losing. And Matthews, you sure you're not next year, British? I'll never get over loser. I'm going to win the X-Division Championship next week, and I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the one that puts everyone in your place. Dummy. Yeah, all right, that's about enough. Calm down. It's getting a little weird in here. Basically, what I'm looking at right now, 6 guys, and not one of you yet has convinced me that you got enough tingle in your loins to walk out with this title and to live up to a guy like Bobby Lashley. I just got to be honest. Hey, Eli, here's a fact of life for you. You don't know anything about the X Division or the athletes in it. So, hey, let me talk to you. Since day one, the X Division has been the heart and soul of TNA. And I'm not going to let anybody disrespect it. Not you and not you. I mean, Lashley. So, hey, if you're watching this, I got a little message for you. Sooner or later, somebody in this X Division is going to beat you. And that somebody is going to be DJ Yeah, bro, he's going to beat you. Dummy. Yeah. Look, let me tell you this. All that I've seen when I'm looking around here is, look, all of you are going to have an awesome match next week. You're all great. You're all wonderful. It's going to be 5 stars. You're going to do flips all over the place. And guess what? There's going to be a new X Division champion. Yippee, skippy. But let me put it like this. Anybody who's not named Eli Drake, dummy, yeah, dummy, yeah, dummy, yeah. I dare you to hit that button one more time. And here we go. Stars of the X Division. Championship in 7 nights. So good, exactly how much that X Division title was won by each and every one of the guys. I was X Division, I was without Eli Drake. But Andrew was down. Andrew takes out everybody. Andrew's the next X Division champion. Eli Drake must fly. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Eli Drake has got the butt gunning. Yeah, here comes DJZ. What's up and on, DJZ? It's that Andrew Start, right?
Well, that's the big question. Will he be the next X Division champion?
Galloway's an asshole. Sorry.
We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, of course. So Eli Drake, fact of life.
Some of those promos, some of those lines were straight ripped off from The Rock. I mean, I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to me. Might as well, Ben. This is not sing along with The Rock.
Exactly. I was thinking about that. When I told you, he reminds me a lot of The Rock. Like when I say dummy, you say, yeah, dummy. Yeah, shut up, dummies. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me. I love that. In fact, I love this. I love it just because of the dummy button. That's my favorite part.
Dummy, yeah.
I actually went and got a dummy button for the show. I got my own little sound bite. That way, you know, that way if we ever get a caller that's a dummy.
Dummy, yeah.
Yeah. We can just
that's right along with the Jericho. Would you please shut the hell up?
Would you please?
I like that one too. I love it. So I had to definitely get that when I saw the fact of life with Eli Drake, and it's definitely one of the most amazing segments. And I definitely look forward to seeing the X Division next week. They'll be doing the X Division match, and we're gonna see it take down. And I got a good feeling that DJ Z is gonna win. He seems to be the top guy in the X Division. It's either gonna be him or Rockstar Spud, who I love the fact they say he's a crybaby. He's like, I'm not a crybaby. Then why do you have braces? What the fuck does braces have to do with being a crybaby? That makes no sense. I don't see what having braces has to do with being a crybaby. I thought that was a dumb comparison. Like if you said Rockstar Spud was a geek. It's like, I'm not a geek, then why do you have braces? That would have made a little bit more sense. Because braces is a stereotype for like geeks and nerds and things like that. Don't get mad at me. I didn't make the stereotype, Hollywood did. But I'm saying that, so that would have been a better way to go. So I think Braxton Sutter needs to definitely work on his promos a little bit more. I think it was a bad attempt at a diss. But either way, Fact of Life was entertaining. I like the fact that Eli Drake is definitely going to be I would love it if Eli Drake was involved in this match now because of this whole issue with the X Division, because the X Division has become a no limit division now. It's not like a cruiserweight. It's just that usually to make it in the X Division, you got to just be a high flyer, basically, is the requirement. That's why when they say you're not the
count.
I don't know. But they say that they say that he's not a common X Division wrestler, which basically is a nice way of saying he's not a spot monkey. You don't do high spots, you don't do flips, you're not acrobatic, so you shouldn't be in the X Division. That was what they say about Bobby Lashley. But he's like, I don't care. I ripped the heart and soul out of the X Division. Because Bobby Lashley held all three major championships. The only belts he didn't hold were the tag team belts or the Knockouts title. Those are the only two belts he never held. He was King of the Mountain champion, X Division champion, and World champion all at the same time until he vacated the belts because he realized these are all garbage. They mean nothing. And like with the King of the Mountain belt, they didn't even care. But when he said the X Division was garbage, that's when Dixie Carter got in his face. Because the X Division is supposed to be, like they said, the heart and soul of TNA. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will now commence as we talk about the main event of the evening. We just finished watching it with the volume turned off, but here it is, EC3 and Drew Galloway.
It was a very, very fucking technical match, but the big thing at the end, I saw Galloway hit EC3 with a tombstone pile driver. And he did it a hell of a lot better than Sting ever did, I'll tell you that. But the big thing is, after EC3 won with a simple roll-up win,
Yeah.
He attacked the special guest ref, who was, of course, Damian Sandow, otherwise known as Tyler. Wait, Tyler?
Aaron Rex.
Aaron Rex. Sorry, wrong Rex. Okay.
Yeah. It's all good. You can still call him Sandow if that helps.
Yeah. But anywho. But the point of what I'm getting at here is Galloway went full heel and is beating the hell out of Rex.
He's still doing it. Yeah, he's now banging his head against the steel ring post, and he's about to continue it. And I will tell you this: I saw you actually cringe at one point when Drew Galloway dropped EC3 with the Irish Curse backbreaker onto the steps.
That wasn't the Irish Curse.
That's what they called it.
That's what they call it on here?
Yeah.
Because the Irish Curse is what Sheamus does. It's like a rock bottom to the knee.
Well, it's called White Noise, the move that Sheamus does, but they called it like an Irish backbreaker or something. That's what Josh Matthews called it. So.
Oh God, I hate when they mix and match names.
It's because they're trying not to. They're trying not to copy WWE.
It's been called the Celtic Cross, the White Noise, the.
Yeah.
Oh. It's not even a backbreaker. It's a slam. Well, that particular case might have been a backbreaker, but that's a whole other story.
Oh, it freaking hurt. Like they just dropped him right on the ring steps, and just it was a great main event. EC3 ends up winning, so now EC3 is going to Bound for Glory, and he's going to face either Bobby Lashley or the Miracle Mike Bennett, depending on who wins the championship next week. That will determine who gets the shot.
Wait. That match didn't win?
That match.
Yes.
Was the number one contenders match.
Yes. We got that.
Yeah, and I said that I said EC3 is going to Bound for Glory. He'll face either Bobby Lashley or the Miracle Mike Bennett, depending on who wins the title next week.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. I wasn't thinking about the fact there was going to be another title match. Okay, that's
Yeah.
right. I was like, wait a second. No, we already determined who's going to be in the match. That was the whole point of this match. What the fuck?
Do you not remember the boring ass battle royal we were talking about earlier? That determined who was going to face Lashley next week. That was to determine who's going to face Lashley next week. So now. So it'll either be Bobby Lashley or Mike Bennett. Whoever wins the title next week will defend it against EC3 at Bound for Glory in October. And it's going to be because October 2nd is going to be the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, which is going to be amazing. It's already got two great matches already set. EC3 going for the world title against either Bobby Lashley or Mike Bennett. That's going to be amazing. And then, of course, the Broken Hardys versus Decay. That's going to be a hell of a rivalry. I look forward to seeing what other craziness they come up with next week. And, of course, we're going to find out whether or not Ali is going to remain Knockouts champion or if Marie and Sienna are going to declare war. All that we'll find out next week on the show. And speaking of next week, I forgot to bring this up during the show, but I'll bring it up now. As most of you already know, next week I'm going to be in Vegas for the World Series of Comedy. It's going to be the big show in Vegas. So, of course, I have to ask the question, Desmond, would you like to run the show yourself next Friday?
Assuming we do not work. That's the big thing is most Fridays I have off. Some I do not. So, assuming I do not work, I would love to run the show.
Okay. All right, so next week, if Desmond's not working, Desmond will be manning the controls for next Friday's show. If for some reason he has to work, then obviously that Friday will be off. Now, that vacation, the Vegas trip starts on Wednesday, which means I will be back on Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. West Coast time, with another fun-filled, action-packed episode of the Boochcast. I'll be doing we'll be getting some more wrestling talk, plenty of wrestling articles, as well as some news talk, weekend recaps, and everything coming your way on the Boochcast. So there will be a show on Monday. There will be a show on Tuesday. And then Wednesday and Thursday, the show will be off. Friday will be pending, depending on Desmond's schedule. There may or may not be a show next Friday. But Monday and Tuesday, there will be a Boochcast. Wednesday and Thursday, there definitely won't be a Boochcast. Friday's a possibility. So until next time, this is Vinny Bucci, a.k.a. The Booch, saying keep on living life and take care, along with Desmond Dagenhart. This has been the Boochcast. We'll talk to you guys on Monday right here on Blog Talk Radio and YouTube.
Fuck off.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.